It said we didn't go live that whole time.
It's live. It says live
No?
now.
It says
Yeah.
live to you?
Yeah, you're good. It started
That's
on YouTube too.
telling
You're
me
live.
on my side that, oh, I'm sorry, your
You're live.
connectivity isn't strong enough. Apparently, we are live.
Yeah, you're live right now.
I hate this computer so much sometimes. I swear to Bob. And of course, who better to boomer the hell out of this than your old friend X-Wing? Well, it's my first time back. It's my first time back. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm back in the studio. I wanted to do a gaming stream earlier on Stash Rendar, but it just didn't match up. And so I decided, why don't we send it off with a late night with my good friend, Matt the Moff Risman. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, I've been talking tonight, right? So I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, might as well keep going, man.
Yeah, man.
He said, we're doing it live. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, so first stream back. I'm glad to be back in my space around all my plastic. I can smell the sweat in this room from the disgusting fanboy that I am. So I'm so happy to be back. It seems like I left from Massachusetts. I came back and all this stuff has exploded about all these different celebrities doing interviews, doing different photo ops and different things like that for Kenobi. They waited until I left to do all this, and now I'm back. So I want to talk about it, especially because I didn't see this Hayden Christensen interview with the tagline, "It's been so heartwarming for Star Wars fans to finally embrace me." Yeah. Interesting thought there. Hard to hear for me as somebody who's a prequel fan and has adored Hayden Christensen since his inception into the Star Wars universe. But here we are, and that's what he's saying. So any initial thoughts?
It's a tough one for me, only because when I think back to the reasons that I heard that people didn't like the prequels so much when they came out, I personally don't remember Hayden's performance being one of those, right? I know there's a lot about the dialogue and some of the childishness things and, you know, and some of the rest of it, but I guess I missed this somewhere. Right. Where he actually did get, you know, a lot of just a lot of hate, and I hate for that to be the case, because in the other interviews I've seen, both he and Ewan have reflected on how much of themselves, how hard it was to play those roles and how much of their life it was. They just put it all out there. And then, you know, even Ewan's been saying, you know, the same thing. Oh my gosh, you know, everyone's so much more receptive now, and it's such a pleasure to be back and all that. And I'm like, wow, I guess it was bad for them.
Yeah, which is nuts, because I specifically remember Hayden walking up and answering a question about what's her name, Rose Tico, Kelly Marie Tran. He was on the red carpet and he's like, yeah, well, you can't really pay attention to it. It's a small portion of the fan base and blah, blah, blah. And I have to wonder, when you're like a Star Wars, you know, superhero, it's Anakin fucking Skywalker. Like, you go to cons, you get all these different people who interact with you and obviously love the heck out of you. What he saw that kind of made him feel that way, and especially to say something like it's so heartwarming to see fans finally embrace me. I mean, it's heartbreaking, bro. That's heartbreaking.
At the end, he's like, well, I guess the word is patience. Like, in other words, if you wait long enough, right, people come around. I'm like, has he been living on his farm this whole time, wondering if? I'm like, it's just eye opening for me.
I've been here, man. I've been here. I would have talked to you this whole time. I would have taken him into my bosom every day of the month.
You're not the only one. You're not.
Yeah, just to make sure he knew he was loved. But anyway, so we get this interview with some scrub. Okay, look, no hate towards this guy. I actually don't know what his channel name is, to be honest with you. We're not going to talk a whole bunch of smack on this guy, but he's got like 7.5K, and he got a freaking interview with Hayden Christensen. We'll let the interview stand on its own merit. Make up your own minds about how you feel about it. But let's go ahead and let's start. Let's take a listen. Let's see what Hayden has to say. Oh, it's so good to see him back.
So it's great to meet you, Hayden.
Hey there. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah, like, I'm so excited for not only this series, but for you to be back in this series. You know, it's a name that I wasn't ever sure you'd be back in the Star Wars world, but you know, I think it's definitely where you belong. So what did it mean to you to come back, and what did you have to wrestle with inside yourself to know that this was the right choice for you?
It meant a great deal to me. You know, this is a character that has sort of defined my life in so many ways. And getting to sort of continue my journey with him is just hugely meaningful. There wasn't a lot to wrestle with. It was a pretty easy decision. You know, when I got the phone call and the invitation to come back, it was a very quick yes.
All right, so interesting.
Do we believe him when he said that?
Well, we hear all these stories about Star Wars actors who are like, oh man, you know, I just got so much hate, I'll never go back to Star Wars, all these different things. And Hayden's like, dude, I got the phone call and I'm back 100%.
And the story we've heard elsewhere is they had to go to him, right? They went out to his farm, they brought the script. I think they did call, like, hey, can we come by? And he's like, well, I'm here, right? You know, if you want to come by, I'm here.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, so.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I find is so interesting is that, like, I understand Mark Hamill, you have to drive to his house with a script and be like, hey, I know how you feel about everything, but we're trying to do something else. You know what I mean? And Hayden to say, like I said, it's so heartwarming for fans to finally embrace me. Like, what do you mean finally embrace you? He picked up the phone and he's like, yeah, I'm Vader. I'm back, like 100%. And it makes me wonder what happened with Rogue One. Did they call him?
I don't think they called. I don't think they called.
And that's upsetting, you know?
Well, and I don't know if we talked about this a little bit, not this, but this whole concept of what happened with Rogue One. And I was expressing, you know, him talking about being in the suit, right, which he's talked about a lot. And I never thought they were going to put him in the suit. I thought there was any production value in putting him. He's been in the suit, right? But the whole Rogue One thing, I think they felt like anyone could play that Vader, right? Because
so long as you have the voice.
Yeah, don't choke on your aspirations or whatever. You could totally phone that in, and then he's just in the hallway, no dialogue at all, right? In this series, they needed Hayden Christensen, right? And that's why I think they drove to his farm and brought the script and told him all about it, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been surprised if Ewan called him too, or I don't know if Ewan was there with them or not. I don't think he was actually, but I wouldn't have been surprised if he didn't call up and say, "How about doing it?" You know, for me, for old time.
And to have those two back again, clashing blades after all this time, after Revenge of the Sith, you know, for them to touch blades again on set, for me, if I was standing there, I would shit myself. I'm sorry to be vulgar on YouTube, like my pants would be just see those guys again on screen after all the work they put in, all the special features we've seen about these guys and the blade work we do. There is something that I can tell you guys that I'm confident about is that this show will have blade work that's comparable to the prequels.
He said it, right? That was the other article. I mean, Hayden has said, and Ewan both, but Ewan did shit himself because he's like, he's like, because you know, Ewan's like, he's like, I was never on screen with Darth Vader. He was like, I was there with Anakin, right? He said, but we were on set. You know, and my back was turned because in that scene, I guess Vader is coming at him from the back. And he said, I heard somebody gasped near me. He said, I turned around. He said, and there's Darth Vader. He said,
the man himself, dude. Come on, let's go. He's
like, I was scared and I knew what was going on, right? It's like,
and that's what I find is so interesting about this show in particular is that, like, there are so many things for us to be excited about. There's so much good stuff for us to be excited about. And yet we still have the monkey on our back. We're worried because it's Disney and blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, I remember my hype levels when it came to Book of Boba Fett. It was not the same, but similar. Very excited. We're going to see Boba Fett, all killer, no filler, gnarly. Like, yeah, let's go. And so there are things like that give me pause and they make me worry. And then I see interviews with Hayden. I see interviews with Ewan McGregor, and they're like, no, it's going to be great. And I'm like, well, I have to believe you. You're Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Also, Deborah Chow, she's not saying all filler, no killer. She's saying, I wanted to respect the lore, right? I did my homework, right? I wanted to make sure that we were true to George's vision as best we can in this series. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Right? This is the
Yeah.
exact opposite of the nonsense that we heard with Book of Boba Fett. I was like, hey, fucking men, give it to me.
Right.
Right?
And that's been the theme with what we've seen from these press releases. It feels like a lot of humble people talking about Star Wars. That's just what I get from the interviews, everybody talking about it. They were dressed like Pennywise. I don't know what was going on, but I'm not a fashion guy, so I don't know exactly. They get dressed by people, so I'm assuming high waters are like the thing nowadays.
I asked Nick Holness, I was like, what is he wearing? And Nick's like,
Ugh.
well, they do kind of dress like that in Scotland. It's not that
Oh, is that like
weird.
okay? That's that side of the fence kind of thing. Okay, well, I don't know about that. I don't give a shit about it, to be completely honest with you. I was just happy to see them together again. Hayden Christensen, who apparently is turning into James Earl Jones as he gets older, because he's like, I'm deeply sorry, master. And now he's like, I'm deeply sorry, master. You're like, Jesus, Anakin, what happened to you?
He's got that Matt Lanter
Oh,
sliding into
James
James
he's
Earl.
got it, man. All right, so let's trudge through a couple more here.
How different is your understanding of the character? Because obviously we're at a different point in the character's life, but also at a different point in your life. So how do you think that you changing has changed your understanding of who this guy is?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of what's really sort of interesting about coming back now after all of this time, is just sort of being in a different place in my life and having sort of a new perspective on my work, and coming back to a character that I've already played before. After all this time, it's just like an interesting exercise in my craft.
How do you feel that you've changed as an actor in that time, and how did you apply that here?
I mean, hard to like really define, but just the way we.
Is that guy creepy? He's creepy as fuck, right?
It's like he's staring into his eyes longingly, right? And
Oh
that's
my
why, like, there was
God,
parts of
yeah.
this where I'm like, is this real, or did he find some other interview of Hayden's and he's reverse engineered the questions to put himself on the side, right? Because it's so strange.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was talking to Hayden, I might get a little dreamy-eyed too. Okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt there at least.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's being dreamy for sure.
We all sort of, evolve over time, and just, the sort of the time that you have thinking about your work and processing it. And this is a character that has stayed with me and that I've sort of continued to think about.
Oh, I love you.
Over the years, and so sort of coming back to it and continuing my exploration. It's been a very unique opportunity.
Okay, so that's something cool I wanted to touch on real quick, because he's talking about exploring the character more, which I feel like if we get 2 scenes with a quick Vader appearance, Hayden wouldn't be like, oh, well, it's me getting a chance to explore my character more. You know what I mean? I feel like he wouldn't say that unless there was at least something going on with Vader. And so that gave me a bunch of hope. I got super excited when I heard that.
We're going to see a day in the life of Darth Vader, right? From when he wakes up and they put his limbs back on, to when he goes into the office in the fortress at Nur, to when they're having a staff meeting. We're going to see that in this series. And if anyone whines because Kenobi doesn't get enough screen time while we're seeing a day in the life of Darth Vader, they can go fuck themselves. As far as
I don't know. I don't think there's a person in this world that would be upset that we got to spend more time with Vader than Kenobi.
Someone will be like, well, Kenobi was only in it 5 minutes, was all about Vader. Someone's gonna say it. If
somebody says that, shills and OG fans alike will dogpile that human being immediately. I'll get in on it too. Like, bro, shut the fuck up.
But I do. I think we're going to see that. But I don't think we're going to see woe is me, Anakin as Vader. I don't think we're going to see I hate my life, right? But I do think we're going to experience what it's like for him to be in that suit, literally. And I think it's going to be heavy, right? I think it's going to be heavy to see that.
Well, we need that, right? We need some levity. We need some gravity in Star Wars. We need some heaviness. And I think that's why I will continue to say this. I think that's why Rogue One hit so hard with fans and why people liked it so much, is because it wasn't like a happy-go-lucky story. Bad shit happened to good people. And that's life. And people, as much as they love escapism, they want to relate to what they're escaping to, if that makes sense. So, you know, for me watching Rogue One, seeing everything happen, you see good people going through hard times and they win in the end, but at what cost? A horrible cost. That's a great story. That's a great story.
I think we're going to see, like it or hate it, right? I think we're going to see Vader giving someone else a bad end, right? In this show, completely consistent with the character.
Right.
And I think that's what we do need to see from this performance.
Yeah, we need to see some heavy. We need to see some heavy.
I mean, so in what ways did it stay with you? Like, what would that thought process be like over the years, not knowing that you'd ever come back to him?
Well, you know, once you're in Star Wars, it never really leaves you.
Sheesh.
You know, these stories and films have sort of had an incredible impact on our culture, and so, you know, I'm always sort of reminded of my involvement, and it's a nice thing, you know, my interaction with fans and you know, when they tell me sort of what those films meant to them and what the character meant to them. So yeah, it's always sort of been in my headspace, and you know, I've just really enjoyed getting to come back and you know, further my journey with this character. And he's at a different time in his life too. And you know, when I was doing the prequels, it was, you know, very specific to Anakin Skywalker. And now coming back and getting to really explore the character of Darth Vader, it's such a cool thing.
What do you think you found in this understanding of Darth Vader that wasn't there in your, you know, portrayal of Anakin or in the original?
This is the interesting
in
one.
The original trilogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is sort of a point in the timeline that hasn't really been explored yet, and I think that the character of Darth Vader is at an interesting place in his life, you know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I told you I went to reach for something, he knocked it over.
You're interviewing Hayden Christensen and you can't clear your desk off for fucking 20 minutes.
But see again, Hayden doesn't miss a beat, and I don't know if it's because Hayden's just listening to him and not looking at him, which is great.
Consummate professional, bro.
You know what I mean? But this guy over here is putzing it up, and Hayden's just, well, I'm just gonna keep going. You know what I mean? It's just.
I should have gotten this interview. I'm just saying, I should have gotten it. It should have been me. It should have been me.
In terms of what has happened before and where we left him in episode 3, you know, he's very much sort of trying to reconcile his past, and hunting down.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Very much sort of trying to reconcile his past.
and Kenobi's going to bring it to him, right? Kenobi's not going to hold back any punches, and I don't mean physically, right? I think in the dialogue that they exchange, it's going to be. I saw Spidey saying he's tearing up a little bit in the chat. Can you imagine if we're tearing up and we're gagaing this much over the interviews, when they actually interact on screen and what they're going to say? And apparently Kenobi's like, what did they do to you? I mean, there's going to be so much going on in this series.
Yeah.
We're all going to be basket cases.
Bro, what if Obi says the P word, man?
He is going to say it. He's
The
going
P
to
word.
say, he's going to say, I still believe you have good in you because Padme believed it. He's going to say it. Basket case.
Emotional damage.
That's why when people are like, bait switch, fuck this show, they're not gonna, the writing is trash. I don't think so. I really don't think so.
There's still part of me that feels that way, but to be honest with you, man, I think there's still gonna be so like, dude, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor together again. Like, I don't care how much you can hate the Disney writer room, just to have those guys together on screen. And this mother effer says Padme to Anakin. Oh.
And this is why I think I passed a remark even to you. I was like, I think the people who believe they're not going to like this show are going to like it far more than they think they are at this moment.
Padme. Yeah, got it. Yeah, for sure.
And hunting down the Jedi, you know, obviously it's his job, and he's mandated by the Emperor, but it's more than that. You know, it's a personal mission for him.
What does it mean for you to have a new generation come to a different appreciation of this character and of your portrayal of this character? Because I feel like people have really gotten behind you, especially the younger generation, in a way that's been really heartening to see.
Yeah, it's just been, you know, really heartwarming. I can't really tell you what it means to me, but it's a really neat thing, you know. I don't know that I can really define it, but
Fuck off,
you know,
end screen.
I guess the moral of the story is patience.
The moral of the story.
I can't wait to see your portrayal here, and hopefully long into the future. So,
okay, so first off, how beautiful of a callback was that to Obi-Wan? What do you choose? Patience.
Yeah.
Patience. He said patience in the interview. Okay. All right. So for me, you know, I have had so many reservations about the show. I started at hype level, I don't know, like 168 squared about Kenobi. And then as we've gotten more shows and things have gone on and we've seen some writing, my hype level started to kind of come down and down and down and down and down. And then we get some leaks and it just tanked. Like tanked like a bad investor meeting. My stock share just like hit the dirt. And it's been tough because like I want to be happy about it. I want to be excited about it. And I wasn't. And then as these things have come out and I start to remind myself that this is Ewan McGregor, this is Hayden Christensen, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is the real Darth Vader. These are the stories that are going to be told. I get really excited. And then like Reva takes front and center and everybody's now screaming that Reva's going to be the main character of the show. And I find myself debating whether or not that's going to be true.
Reva is a main character of the show, right? She isn't the only main character of the show. Just like we used last night, an example of 24 is a great example, the 24 show, right? That show's about Jack Bauer, but it's not a great show without Chloe and Tony Almeida and Dennis Haysbert and all the rest of it, right? They are all main characters in the show. I think the issue isn't, is Reva a main character, yes or no? It's does she overshadow from a screen time and from a story perspective, the story that they're trying to tell with Obi-Wan and Vader. That's the part of it that folks need to reconcile. I personally think it will be balanced, but again, coming off of the Book of Boba Fett and with all the nonsense that's going on these days, lots of folks go right to bait and switch. It's going to be all Reva all the time.
Well, I mean, look at what happened with Book of Boba Fett. You have one of the most famed bounty hunters in the galaxy, and essentially he has an errand dog in Fennec Shand who's way more capable at dealing with any problem, along with the mods too, are way more capable characters at dealing with issues. And so I think a lot of people just want to see that character given the respect that he deserves in terms of his capabilities, who he is. This is essentially the legacy character, right? This isn't Anakin or Luke because they kind of had their own trilogies. This is somebody who spanned from the start to the end, all the way through. This is, I would argue, the most important character in the entirety of Star Wars.
I think they're going to do him justice. I think we're going to see him in all the episodes. I think his impact is going to be important. I think Reva is going to play the necessary antagonist, and sort of the lead sleuth, if you will. And I think they're going to play up the Inquisitors, because the Inquisitors as an organization is a mess, right? It's cutthroat. They're pitted
Right.
against each other. You know, they're trying not to get limbs chopped off with Vader. They're trying to do their jobs and all. It's not like one big happy family.
No,
right?
no, they're a bunch of dickheads. Yeah.
So that's going to all be going on, and everything like that's going to be happening. Kenobi's going to be doing what he needs to do, and then there's the whole Leia business, and everything is going to be going on. Oh, well, I'm not going to go into it, right? But I saw it earlier today on Screen Rant. They're like, Leia this, Leia that, and I'm like,
Oh.
I'm like, it wasn't in the trailer, right? What are you
No, sure was not. Was
talking
not.
about?
We'll
But
call that a quick leak. Quick leak. Don't worry about it.
All the subtext that's going on and the subplots, right? And I think it's all going to work together, right? For me, what it's going to come down to is when the series reaches its culmination point in the final episode and the ending ends, are they going to stick that landing, right? Is it going to come together in a way that people accept, understand, and say, you know what, this makes sense. I watched 5 episodes. I know how we got here. These things happened at the end. Okay, got it. Right.
Well, and that's my biggest concern, really. And first of all, yeah, I don't know how we didn't hit this, but happy birthday to the maker,
78.
George Lucas's birthday. That
78,
should have been the first thing that I said. Yes,
as much
happy
as I
birthday.
say fuck George Lucas, if we didn't have George Lucas, we wouldn't have the Star Wars. He's still a sellout, but we wouldn't have a Star Wars.
Shut your
without
damn mouth.
George
Just
Lucas.
shut your damn mouth. All right, you gone too far. Darth Arlino with a $5. I'm so excited for Kenobi, and I don't care what anyone thinks. It's been a while, X-Wing. Kindly dispose of the younglings. There are too many of them. I agree. Anakin, do what you do best.
Thank you.
Darth Weaven says, 24 isn't named after the character. If Kenobi is overshadowed, it'll be fucked. I agree.
I mean, 24 is basically the Jack Bauer show, right? I mean, Blacklist isn't named Raymond. I mean, you know, we could go on and on and on.
I mean, he's got that's way too close. I don't want to be that
I
close.
know, we're really close enough.
He's got a good point though. I mean, the show is called Kenobi, and we're all there for Kenobi. We didn't come for anybody else, really. I mean, Vader, yeah, it'd be awesome, but I mean, we all came for Kenobi. And so again, I think it's extremely important that they focus heavily on Kenobi, and I think that's what we're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know, man. It was called the Book of Boba Fett, and
I don't think we're gonna have any Kenobi-less episode of this series, right?
oh, could you imagine the hellfire and brimstone that would come if there was a whole episode about
now
just
people might
Reva's life?
people might not like what they see of Kenobi on the screen, right? But I think, and not only do I think we're gonna get Kenobi in every episode. And Deborah Chow was recently interviewed about Tatooine fatigue,
right.
And she said I didn't want to do it, right? She said I couldn't do it. Too much Tatooine. She's like,
Well, I
Star
think it
Wars.
depends on how you do Tatooine, though, because in the trailer, when I saw Tatooine in the trailer, it didn't feel like the same Tatooine I saw in Book of Boba Fett, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was how they shot it, the cinematography, the angles, whatever the case may be. It felt like a different desert planet. I don't know why.
So for what I've seen in the trailer, right, I would say this Tatooine to me is much more reminiscent of the Tatooine we got in A New Hope, right? It's grungy. It's not a place I want to go to, right? And the people there don't seem particularly happy about being there, juxtaposed with Book of Boba Fett, where the mayor's palace was a beautiful white, and
and this flourishing bar where everybody hangs out in an oasis,
and sitting outside having drinks and eating canapes, right? I'm like,
and lest we forget the thing that I've never talked about the Book of Boba Fett, and we can move on right after this. But when the mayor's assistant or whatever like slams into a cart and thousands of fruit spill onto the street, I'm like, food was not a thing that you just had by the thousands on the side of a street vendor. Like, that's not a thing that happened. That just pissed me off, but that's one of those little tiny things, you know?
But I mean, in regards to this series, right? Nobody wanted, oh, thank you. Nobody wanted 6 episodes of Kenobi looking through binoculars on Tatooine, right? So we all, other than Obsession, who, God bless him, still thinks they're not getting off Tatooine. right? She basically said, I wanted to get us off Tatooine. There's planets
Yeah.
out there. There's stories to tell. There are places to go, you know, and all this. She certainly seems much more humble than Robert Rodriguez. I will say that.
And Spidey brings up a good point. I'm fine with a Kenobi-less episode if it's a Vader episode.
Mhm.
You know, if we've established him, and this is something that, you know, I go back to Book of Boba Fett again. It was kind of tough because we didn't really have an established big bad. We had bads, but we didn't have a big bad from the beginning of the season. And so I think that's something that's obviously kind of already spoken, I guess, when it comes with the show. It's implied that Vader's the big bad guy. But if you establish Vader's story at the beginning and Kenobi's story at the beginning, and then you have them both kind of grow and move as they go through the season, and it culminates with them in a conflict or whatever the case may be, I think that's a way better way to go. And I pray to God that's the way they do it. But
And there was no sense of urgency in Book of Boba Fett. There's going to be, I feel like we're going to be on a roller coaster ride with Kenobi almost from the very beginning, right? The urgency is going to be there. On your point, and like we've talked about before, they have, to me, all the basic recipe for a successful Star Wars series.
Yeah.
In Kenobi, right? They have
good guy, bad guy, laser swords. We're done.
The Empire is there. There's stormtroopers, right? We know what's going on. There isn't any fill in the blank. You know, is Han Solo showing up with the pregnant wife? And none of this is happening.
Right.
We know at least the context of the story, and it seems to resonate from a lore perspective. They just need to stick the landing on the ending.
And that's something interesting. Since this is a late night, we can kind of dive into this a little bit. I always think it's funny when we look at modern media and when people make movies and you come out of the movie theater thinking that person thought I was stupid. Does that make sense? When you watch a movie and you're like, this person thought I was stupid. Like I couldn't figure it out myself. And so they had to show me on screen what I was supposed to think. And yet when it comes to Star Wars, you have to tread a line because we want that stupid, simple, easy story, but you also have to put philosophical questions into it. So I don't envy anybody who has to make a Star Wars story because you have to make something so simplistic and yet layer it on with this frosting of like gnarly philosophical questions, things that have to do with modern society, but you just have to frost it because if you bake it into the cake, everybody's going to hate it.
I'm with you 100%.
That's my favorite analogy I've ever done in my life.
That was quite coherent. I'm impressed. Right. But what I always go back to with this series specifically is why risk it? Right. They didn't have to make a Kenobi series.
Right.
You know what I mean? They've chosen this because they feel strongly about the story. Ewan supported it. Hayden read the script and came back. Right. This isn't a let's just throw a flyer out there and see if anyone still likes Boba Fett, right? This is motherfucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Legacy character. Legacy character.
Yeah. And again, since we know how their stories end, they do have to introduce a couple of supporting characters whose story we don't know. And that's, to me, a great reason why you would introduce someone like a Reva. Now we can argue, should it have been, how we wanted to cast it? We don't need to go into all that, right? But the necessity to have another antagonist that they could create and explore makes sense to me.
Yeah, there has to be something else because, and this is where you have to tread that line, dude, because if the big bad was Vader and the good guy was Kenobi, if they just tussled the whole show, people would be furious. They'd be like, what do you mean since we last met, they've been fighting for a year over the course of the show? What the hell? People would be mad. And so you do have to introduce this new character. Obviously, there's some issues with continuity when you think about the Inquisitors. Like who could be this gnarly Inquisitor that could sniff out Kenobi, fight with him, survive, and still exist in the universe? And I think resoundingly, the answer is she's probably not gonna.
Not only is she,
if I had to take a guess,
not only is she not gonna, but I think we're going to see It's so funny, right? Because I think we're going to see some of the Obi-Wan Kenobi that folks want to see as he interacts with Reva and says, I'm guessing, this is me speculating, I know what we did to you, right? It didn't work out the way any of us wanted it to,
Right.
right? You still have a choice.
We were trying to do a good thing, man.
Wouldn't you put that kind of dialogue in? Right, listen, we fucked it up, but you still have a choice. Right, things are going on now. You can be a part of the solution, right? You don't have to keep doing this. And then you hear her in the trailer, right? You can't escape him, right? And all these things. I think there's going to be interchange between Kenobi and Reva. That's again going to be quite heart-wrenching, because when it comes right down to it, another one of my favorite lines, right? The Jedi Order was a failure in the end. And he and Yoda at this point are bearing the brunt of that failure sort of alone, right?
Well, yeah, they're the only two left that are really pushing the. I mean, you think about like Kanan, Cal, they're not pushing it. They're not pushing the Jedi deal.
He's going to encounter situations in this series that's going to continue to magnify that failure, and Reva is just the latest example of that, magnified by 1,000.
Yeah. Very much a Trilla kind of character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think.
So.
Can you hold down the fort for 2 seconds?
I
can tear the ears off of Gundark. You
can
can do this.
Go and do it.
I'm going to leave you with, no, you know what? It's up to you. You got this.
Good. All right. I'm still here. I've been talking all day. How's the chat doing? What's up, Maria? Good to see you. T. Davidson. I think I saw Nick there.
You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. You're doing so good.
You didn't leave very quickly. Yeah, Dat Boy Steve, I said it just for you. I saw your comment. It's hard for me to shit on George Lucas on his birthday, for crying out loud. That's right, Echo Base Network. It's so hard to believe, right? What is it? It's the 14th? Gracious, we're less than 2 weeks away. It's hard to believe. We've been waiting all this time for this series, and now it's almost here. It's almost here. Welcome, Showroom Sabers. Good to see you. Yeah, we missed the streaming. God, X-Wing's back. I hope so, Spider-Man 96. I want it to be great. I don't want to have another Doctor Strange 2 moment. It's got to be great. Got to be great. There he is. Perfect timing.
I haven't watched the Doctor Strange 2, so don't spoil anything.
I liked it. I liked it, by the way. I just didn't love it, right? And I really wanted to love it. I really wanted to. Love Doctor Strange 2.
Well, I'm gonna watch it and I'll let you know. I have thoughts about Moon Knight, but we're gonna save that for another one. There's some interesting thoughts I have about that, because it's one of those ones where I didn't feel the hate that I think a lot of people felt with
like I told you, it made me sad, right? I didn't, and maybe that was the point, right? Maybe what I felt as a result of Moon Knight was what I was supposed to feel. I just didn't feel like it was a show about a superhero.
Do you think that's going to happen with Kenobi, with fans?
That they're going to feel unfulfilled, that they're going to feel sad, or I think, and Deborah Chow has said this, right, and I think Kathy Kennedy said it also in a slightly less verbose way. I think what they're going to do well in Kenobi is it's going to be a show about hope, which, as we all know, is a cornerstone of what Star Wars is all about, right? Star Wars
is literally the whole thing.
Has always been about rising up against these gargantuan monstrosity of an organization, right?
Yeah.
All the chips are down, and we're going to start to see here in this series, I believe, as the Empire is still rising, we're going to start to see the sparks of the rebellion. And I think Kenobi is going to leave this series full of hope for various reasons. And I think that's going to resonate. My goodness, right now, what better time to put out a show that leaves people hopeful than right now? Right? Yeah. I mean,
and especially with the leading into Andor, I feel like that's extremely important that you see, and I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know any leaks about this or anything like that, but if there's some kind of a spark or something, especially with, Bail Organa possibly being in the show with some kind of hints at the rebellion really starting to kind of gain, some steam and stuff like that. I mean, how long does Luke have really until the rebellion's in full swing? 9 years until he's already, basically on his way. So I think it'd be really cool if they work that stuff into it. I think it's something that they could do very easily. Obviously, there have been some rumors about Leia showing up, Bail Organa being in there. I think that's a nice treat that people aren't thinking about when it comes to the show that they could work in. That could be amazing. Moon Knight was kind of, this is a Star Wars channel. Get out of here.
And I think now we're seeing again, because I keep saying, why don't they just release Andor? Why don't they just release Andor? Now I think I understand why they needed to release Kenobi first, right? Because again, there's a subtext in Kenobi around how I think some things get started, which will directly lead into the story that they're trying to tell in Andor. Oh no, Death Boy Steve, don't do that to him. His ego is very fragile. He's got a very fragile ego. See, you reduced him to tears now. Don't do that. So I'm okay with that order, right? Even though I feel like I've been waiting 4 years literally for Andor, right? I get it. Right, I get it if they wanted to tell this story first. I just hope folks leave watching Kenobi feeling really fulfilled, like they've seen a Star Wars story that felt like Star Wars. Again, agree with the story or not, at least let it feel like Star Wars.
And that's the thing that I feel like a lot of us have been missing. It's just, there's this innate feeling that comes with Star Wars. And a lot of us have felt like it's just been missing. Get rid of the writing, get rid of everything else. Just the feeling of Star Wars as a whole has been kind of missing from a lot of Disney projects. And so if they can somehow replicate that, like Rogue One is always the one I pull up, that felt like Star Wars. Why? Well, I can't really explain it. Just felt like it. If they can replicate that in Kenobi, it will be successful. That's the bottom line. Even if the story is kind of meh, it's still going to feel like Star Wars. That will make people happy. That's the bottom line.
And I think, some folks have started to say, just because of recent history and some other things, right, that Rogue One was an anomaly. I don't know that I feel like it was an anomaly necessarily, but I will say they certainly did seem to capitalize very well on a suite of characters that were almost completely unknown, right? I think they were all except for Vader, right? Who else did we know in that?
Saw Gerrera.
But I mean, for the majority of that main cast was completely unknown. They developed the characters.
Dude, Krennic? What a great Imperial Krennic was. My God, he was perfect.
They did everything that was required. They gave us one of the most kick-ass space battles they've ever given us, right? And everything felt very genuine.
And how good was Galen Erso, right? You have a scientist who's conscripted by the Empire. Like, think about how good of a storyteller you have to be like, well, how was the Death Star created? Like, it was the most horrible person in the world would have conceived something like that. Like, no. It was a totally normal dude who was conscripted by the Empire to make this monstrosity. And because he didn't want to do it, he built in one fatal flaw, one tiny flaw.
And they're reminding me in the chat, Nick and others, they gave us a CGI Tarkin that people loved, right, of all things, right?
I liked the Tarkin, not going to lie. Wasn't a huge fan of the Leia, but I liked the Tarkin.
Yeah, the Leia looked a little faker to me, obviously, than the Tarkin did, but they did all those things in that movie, right? A couple hours and change. That to me, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Rogue One, right? So they can do it, right? And remember, that was made by folks who weren't. I liked Solo, but
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like,
Dominic's trolling, but remember that Rogue One was made by folks who weren't into Star Wars. Right. But they wanted to tell a story. They're like, I can tell this story.
And that's the conversation that I do this back and forth in my head all the time. I'm like, Star Wars nerds should make Star Wars. And I'm like, nah, probably not a good idea, man. I think people who know nothing about Star Wars should make Star Wars. I kind of feel that way. I didn't read this yet. Oh, God. Hey, I know this time it'll be different. Disney really cares about keeping it canon and giving the fans what they want.
I totally get. I mean, I totally get Loki's perspective, right?
It's the same as mine too. I'm just trying to. I'm trying.
I was in some stream or heard somewhere recently in someone else's stream, but they equated it to the Peanuts cartoon, right? Where Lucy's got the football, and every time Charlie Brown
Yank
goes
that
to pick
fucker
that,
out.
she yanks
Yep.
it away, right?
Every
And,
fucking time.
That's how many more times. But I have to say, if you want to carry that analogy through to conclusion, Charlie Brown kept trying to kick that damn ball. He never gave up.
Not me, man. I'm trying to kick the kicker at this point.
But all I'm saying is there's
close.
a part of that you have to decide, right? You do have to decide, am I going to stop kicking, right? Or am I going to keep kicking, keep trying each and every time and see if I can eventually get it, right? I don't know.
You know who didn't age? Julian Glover. My God, Admiral Veers drinks beers. I love that guy. My God.
So
Love
funny.
that man. Love that man. And so this is kind of where we're at, dude. The track record. Oh, no. The track record is not great right now with, and I don't even know how you classify fans, because there's the way that Twitter does it, which is essentially your black pill, asshole, man, baby, piece of crap if you don't like everything that Star Wars puts out, or you're a massive Disney shill and you don't know anything about storytelling. Those are the two boxes that they put you in, right? Like a liberal or a conservative. That's basically what it is. And we've kind of lost the middle ground. And for a lot of people, I get it, dude. I get it. It's one way or the other. Like, you're tired of people just being like, screw it. It's crappy. I'm never going to watch it. And you're tired of people being like, that was the most amazing show. And if you don't like it, you're just a piece of shit. And
you know why it's hard to be in the middle, right? Because when you're in the middle, both sides shit on you, right? It's
And that's
better
the
to pick a
thing, man.
side. Better to pick a side, because then at least you got some people on your side, right? When you're in the middle, it's like, oh, I'm getting it from both sides, right? I can't.
Not me. No, I would so much rather be like true to myself and catch it from both sides, because this is honestly how I feel about it. Like, I want to be positive. I think there are good things that we're going to see. There are going to be things in this show that I'm going to love to a degree that brings me back to my prequel days, like full-blown childhood, tear, gut-wrenching, amazing moments in the show. And then there's going to be parts of it that are like, I could walk into a room and put a garrote around Deborah Chow's neck and kill her because I'm so upset about what you did with this. So, it's both sides. And I start getting tired sometimes, though. I do get tired sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very wearisome, right? Because what I go back to always is, all we have to go on for Star Wars, really, as far as this live action content goes, is these Disney Plus shows, right? And they don't come out frequently. And when we do wait and they come out and they don't hit, right? It's not like there's a movie coming next, right? So if it didn't hit, that's okay. And the movie's going to be spectacular, right? All you can do is wait for them to put out the next series, right? So there's an added pressure there on we put on ourselves on really wanting to love it, firstly, and then these the leaks come and other things happen, and the speculation stops being fun and folks get a little down in the dumps. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but we haven't even seen a real second of any of it, right? All we've seen are the trailers, which, with the exception of Egghead, right, the trailers have been pretty okay.
I'm so over the whole Egghead thing. Whatever. They screwed up in the costume department. Whatever. I'm over it. It's not going to make it a bad show. You know what I mean? I have to start looking at the reasons why I'm going to like or dislike this show. A dude's head shape is not going to ruin it for me. Really wish they would have done the yellow eyes. Never going to understand why they didn't do that. Whatever. But Loki says they are not making entertainment for the sake of great entertainment. Everything must be a platform or a lesson or some BS no one cares about. Just make a good show. For some reason, and I hear you, for some reason I feel like this one's I'm the kid kicking the ball. For some reason, For some reason, I feel like this one's different, and I don't know why. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's bullshit. They made the main inquisitor a black girl. Like, get the fuck over it, man. You know, and that's not at all towards Loki at all. That's more towards like a lot of the shit that I've been hearing on YouTube. People would be like, oh, well, it's a black inquisitor. Do you remember when Force Awakens came out? And it was like, a black stormtrooper? That would never happen in Star Wars. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me? Like, apparently nobody ever read a book about how stormtroopers came to be.
Well, and Phasma being the female boss, right? I mean, we could go on and on and on, right? I mean, you know what I mean? So again, I could only go by what I've seen in the trailer and these interviews that have been coming out, and hearing Moses Ingram conduct herself in those interviews. She hasn't said anything or held herself in such a way to me that screams, yeah, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm glad to represent, you know, my culture and upbringing and background, you know, and to show everyone.
There's not that bullshit with this one.
That we can do it too, right? She's like, I can't believe I was in Star Wars.
Yeah,
I can't believe I was here with these folks, and
that's why
series.
That's why I kind of feel the way
for months to learn how to use a lightsaber. I can't believe I did these things.
It's got kind of the prequel-ish feel to it when we were listening to them talk. Now, that could be 100% bullshit, and we could get to the show, and it could be 100% just the message. I love when Critical Drinker says that. The message. Because it's pervasive in media. It really is pervasive in media. But I don't know why this one just feels like it just feels a little different. I feel like they're focusing on the story. I feel like they really are. And yeah, is there a Black Inquisitor? Like, fuck, if that really bothers you, like, man, maybe do something else, you know, look at something else, or maybe take a look inside if you're really worried about that. But
well, yeah, and we also have to remember the Inquisitors, by definition, were a cobbled together group of folks, right? They didn't, you know what I mean? They took candidates for the Inquisitors that came from all over the place, right? All races, creeds, sizes, backgrounds, right? You know, fallen Jedi, Force sensitives, all these different things, right? And they were completely disposable, right? They were never intended to be a permanent anything. They were a means to the end, right? So I don't find the casting to be distressing, right? If she sucks in the role, and I'm like, this blows, then I'm going to say, maybe she wasn't ready for this kind of a role, right? Maybe Star Wars is not for this actress, right?
Yeah, if she's trash in the show, I'm gonna rip on her for sure, 100%. I don't care who you are, where you came from, what you do. If you're a bad actress, I'm definitely gonna rip on you. But I haven't seen anything yet that really is really striking me out. Really, the only thing that bummed me out is I still think she should have been in a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been in a helmet, dude. It's Inquisitors. Like, they all wear helmets. Bottom line, 100%. Well,
the only one we've seen in a helmet, right, at least from a trailer's perspective, has been the fifth brother.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm with you. The helmets were always so cool, right? Especially in Rebels and the comics too, right? I mean, they were a part of their personality.
Disney, what are you thinking? Like, capitalize, okay? If you have a main Inquisitor bad bitch in the show, give her a badass helmet and then have her take it off, and then you hand it over to Hasbro. Sell that helmet from Hasbro. Like, it's...
Now, I think I did hear or see somewhere that they did make helmets for all of them, right? So whether or not they're going to be toting them around, or she actually ever puts it on or whatever, I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see. But they've been front and center helmetless, clearly, you know, except for him this whole time. So
yeah. So Nick, over at EBN, Bobby Rod is not ready for directing any more Star Wars. Yeah, I said it. Dude, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, even my mega shill homie, Star Wars Obsession, when we got done with that show, was like, he was mad. He's like, you kind of told me some stuff was going to happen and it didn't happen. I was really bummed out. And even he was really bummed out. So,
well, you didn't watch the behind the scenes gallery?
I have not watched it solely for the fact that, like, I don't I don't even know how to describe it. I don't want to. This is going to sound like the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. And I don't want you to be mad at me for this. I don't want to look back on that fondly.
Well,
because
I
I was not fond of that experience.
Well, so I'll tell you one more thing that you won't be fond of, right? Well, apparently, when Favreau wrote the script for the finale, he gave it to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez was like, "I love this. I want to direct this." He said, "But I bet you John wants to direct this." So he wrote up this whole speech and went to John and begged him to direct Robert Rodriguez to direct the finale, and Favreau finally was like, "Okay, you can direct it." That was in the behind the scenes.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that might explain some of my upsetness with that. Maria, the homie, talking about Jedi Fallen Order, guys. The whole woke thing that just came out. It's the same thing regurgitated from years ago. One of two. Yeah, no, I saw your comment about that. Yeah, I believe it 100%. Yeah, but these things happen. You know, things get sensationalized. An old employee makes a tweet. You know, what's something that's another good example of that is the stuff that happened with Quantic Dream, with Eclipse.
Yep.
Right. Everybody was thinking that the game got tanked because the guy who runs the studio is like a misogynist and a piece of crap and a sexual abuser and all these different things. That was like 5 years ago. It was a long time ago. So yeah, people like to sensationalize stuff. That's just kind of how it goes. We got a new member up in here.
Wow, well done. Welcome to the family.
Mr. Moore, welcome to the family. Please make sure if you can, join the Discord. It's in the link under there. You will be just coddled and held by about 100 different people that'll welcome you to the community. Welcome, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. And then we got number 2 about the lead female. The lead at the time was supposed to be Sarah Jund. Is it Sarah Junda or Sarah Jund? I think it's Jund. But because Rey was a lead in The Force Awakens, they changed it to Cal Kestis. Yeah. I'm glad they did. I mean, the whole crew was chicks on the ship. Everybody was a chick except for the 4-arm monkey man, who was probably my favorite character in that entire game, actually.
I spotted an article earlier today that was speculating that because the sequel is called Survivor, that the lead in the sequel game could actually be Kenobi. So, who knows?
What?
Kenobi's a survivor?
No, that's not happening. It's not happening. There's no way. There's not a chance in this world they're going to make Kenobi.
There's been a lot of talk on this series about video games.
No. Is that what you guys were talking about on EBN when he was talking about computer games?
It's just speculation, right? I mean, I hope we hear more about it at Celebration.
It's bad speculation. I don't like speculation. Dan the man joined the Hangar Bay community. I thought you were a member. You weren't a member yet. Shame on you. But welcome, my brother. Welcome. We got to get you in on one of these late nights, dude. We haven't talked in way too long. Welcome to the community, my friend. I mean, we've been friends for a while, but thank you for joining. And you remember this guy?
Oh, yeah. Came to a stream.
Mo Walker just joined on here officially. Mr. Moore is me also. Oh, it's Mo Walker.
Okay, good.
Hey, awesome. You're already in the Discord under Mo. Yes, awesome. Okay, good. Well, that makes me happy. We're always glad to have massive Star Wars fans join the community.
Not only did he join, but he met us in person, and he still joined.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Right?
I must have been wearing deodorant that day.
Something, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. But anywho, so yeah, this whole thing has got me in fits, left, right, upside down, and sideways. I've been tearing. It's like, what does he say in the sequel trilogy? He's like, the very action is tearing your soul apart. That's me thinking about Kenobi. Like, I don't know what to think. I'm on both sides. I'm deep on both sides. I'm like, dude, the show's gonna be trash. oh my God, this is going to be the most amazing thing I've ever seen that's ever come out of Star Wars. I'm so excited. And so I don't really know what to do. The fence post is so far up my butt at this point that it's tickling the back of my brain. I don't know. I don't know. And so I guess I'm going to have to sit down and watch it. We're going to do some watch parties. We're going to see this thing unfold in real time, and whatever happens, happens.
I hope they confirm. We're all assuming that Thursday night at 3 a.m. it's going to drop, right? I'm wondering if they really want to premiere it at Celebration. Do we think it's still going to drop at 3 or 12 midnight Pacific time on Thursday? Or are they going to hold it and actually drop it while they show it at Celebration? And if they do that, I hope they say something ahead of time before every one of us waits up till 3 a.m. for a drop that never fucking happened.
Could you imagine, bro? Oh my God. Way to show up late.
What up?
There he is.
Well, we had a watch
You've been
party.
in the chat for like 45 minutes, bro.
Oh, he was not still on the watch party, I'm sure.
We had a watch party in Discord, and then I was letting the dogs out. I grabbed something to eat. You know.
What were you watching?
We did Family Guy, something.
Oh, that's
Dark
right.
Side.
Yeah.
Which that was the first time I'd seen the uncut, uncensored version, and it was pretty fucking hilarious.
Oh, they're so good, dude.
Yeah.
All right, you're here now on this Star Wars channel. Light me up. What are your expectations for Kenobi? And I want you to do something for me. You gotta, any videos you've watched or leaks or anything like that, just wipe that crap out of your brain and just tell me, what are your thoughts going into it?
My thoughts going into it are pretty much the same today as they were before the leaks ever even came out.
Okay.
I'm going into it optimistic but cautious. The thing
You're
is,
optimistic?
yeah, because I want it to be good. Like I want Kenobi to be good. Like I would love to watch this show and by the end be like, good job, guys. Home run, knocked it out of the park.
You must contradict yourself.
But I also know that this is Disney that we're dealing with here. Their track record's not good. So my expectations aren't high. I'm optimistic, you know, because I really want it to be good, but my expectations aren't high. So the thing is, and me and Coach talked about this tonight, it's going to be fun for us either way.
Right.
It's either going to be fun because we're going to be celebrating it, going, man, they killed it. Great job. This show's awesome. Or it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun trashing on it, being like, this show sucks. They ruined these characters. So, and then just chatting with everybody. And the thing is, anybody who's a fan of Star Wars in the YouTube space knows by now, not everybody agrees with everybody else. It's just all over the place with people.
Controversial take, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it is. I mean the last thing that I think
I'm with McLovin, dude. It's gonna be fun and depressing.
Yeah.
It's like a manic. We're gonna have a manic episode, right? Watching the program.
Yeah,
you're gonna see me break down.
The thing is, it's gonna be it's gonna be fun either way. And people are. I think the last time that fans were in a vast majority positive about something was the return of Luke. Obviously,
it was Luke. Yeah, 100%. The internet was on fire.
Yeah, I mean, there was very small amounts of people that were like, you know, this is not good. You know, when the vast majority of people loved the return of Luke Skywalker in that episode. And so I think this show, I don't think we're going to get a moment like that where the vast majority of people are for something happening, whatever happens in this episode. I think the whole show as a whole is going to be a very mixed bag between fans. I think it's going to kind of be all over the place.
And that's the hard part, right? Is that a lot of people are going to be stoked on some episodes. Some people are not going to be happy about other episodes. And then now we have to sit and we got to debate about what was good and bad. And essentially, if that happens, it's going to be viewed negatively on the whole.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. It just will be.
Yeah. And if Obi-Wan's not the focus and he fails at his job, but the diversity hires the real hero that really saves Luke, and it's because of her that Luke lives on, people are not going to like that. People are not going to like that at all.
Well, I don't know anything about that. That's probably some kind of weird something I don't know anything about, which we're not talking about any of that stuff right now. But hey, Ma Walker, another member that's the same person? Did you double up on memberships?
Hopefully he didn't just join again. Hopefully
maybe he upgraded his membership.
No, it was he had the Mr. Moore was the last one.
No.
So I don't know about that. We have a couple people that want to join. Are you guys okay sharing the space?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Just real quick, Ma Walker, I just wanted to say
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I almost played it again.
That's my favorite one.
I'm not good at this whole YouTube thing. Okay. If we want to share the space, let's get some other input here. I know one person that definitely wants to hop in, Miss Arlena and Mr. Dan the Man. So I'll send those out. We'll get some other input in here tonight. I think it's I think the more I think about the show and the more I think about like what I'm worried about, really what I'm worried about is the fans' reaction to it and what kind of discourse is going to happen. And I don't mean that in the way of like, a Raylo worried about, oh my God, they don't like that they shipping people and no dick. I'm not worried about any of that. This is a legacy character that we've cared about for years and years and years and years. Like since 1977, we've cared about Kenobi. You know what I mean? And there are people who are Luke Skywalker fans, generally from the older generation. There are people who are Anakin Skywalker fans from the younger generation. But Kenobi spans from the start to the end, all the way through. And so this impacts everybody. No. And if this goes bad, dude.
Yeah, and these are the last two legacy characters that they have not destroyed.
Vader and Kenobi.
These are the last ones. And I will say this for anybody who thinks this show is going to be a hit before seeing it or a flop before seeing it. I don't think that's a good attitude to have going into it because you don't know. Like me and Coach going into The Last Jedi, I was like, this movie is going to be awesome, and then we left in utter disappointment. I will never be disappointed with Star Wars ever again because my expectations are so low, but there's plenty of opportunity there for me to be pleasantly surprised.
Well, dude, how'd you go into the last episode of The Mandalorian? You're like, oh, well, I hope those guys do okay. And Luke Skywalker walks through the front door.
I had no clue. I had no clue. And
no one did.
No. And when the X-Wing was coming in, like when the X-Wing showed up, I thought it was going to be a whole lot more X-Wings, like more rebels coming.
Yeah, I thought it was those guys.
The second I saw it, and that's so funny because I go back and I rewatch the reactions, and people are like, "Oh, who's that X-Wing?" I saw it. I'm like, "That's Red 5. Holy shit, it's Luke!" And I started crying. Yeah, it's just like immediately.
I didn't cry, but I got emotional. I got emotional, and it got me in the feels to where, I was borderline there on shedding some amount of tears.
That boy.
Oh no, he's gone.
I thought I was holding it together pretty well on that finale until R2 showed up. When R2 showed up, I lost it. I was like, okay,
R2 showing up, but one of the things that got me even more than that was when Din took his helmet off for Grogu. Like I thought that was a very emotional, like that whole last part of that episode. I had issues with that episode, but that whole end part of that episode when Luke's X-Wing shows up, man, that thing was I don't care who you are. That last part of that episode was done with so much respect and love. Like I absolutely loved it. I cannot give enough praise to everybody involved.
Well, you know,
with the last part of
I
that
shot
episode.
that scene first. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
No, I did. I shot that scene. I did the previs. I did the previs for that scene, and it's kind of upsetting. I don't really get any credit for it, but I actually have the side by side of me doing the previs first, and then him coming in after. The mustache was that was kind of my idea. If you guys are okay with it, I'm just going to show it to you real quick. This was my idea.
I feel as though I've seen this before.
Oh yes.
I was about to
That's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was I wrote that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Very
just figured
professionally done too.
I know. I thought I would share with you guys. You know, previs is previs. They didn't really have, you know, the animatronics and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it sort of had the fit and finish from Book of Boba Fett, right? Pretty much the same production
yeah,
quality.
exactly. Yeah. So I do, you know, what I can to contribute to the Star Wars universe, and
You Mandalorians really need to keep your mask on, man.
I knew it was coming, really.
yeah.
Oh my.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He put his guest appearance on the late night. Goes to Dan the Man. He lasted 5 minutes.
Man.
But no, on a serious note, I think it was sad that like it was a good moment and whatnot in the season 2 finale, but honestly, I really wish Luke had that with Grogu, and like we got a little bit of that in Boba, but depending on how long he's been with Grogu, like he dips after he gives him the choice, and that was kind of disappointing for me in Boba, and it was a really shit finale. But Boba was a fine show for me. It was really just that finale I didn't like. And I think Mandalorian season 3 is going to slap. I think Kenobi is going to slap.
If we don't get the same kind of impact from Kenobi or more than we got from the finale of Mandalorian, then they've failed.
Yeah,
we should though. Yeah. We should get, because it's Vader and Kenobi. Like those two are the boys. You know, we gotta get that.
And see, and I'm this jury's still out for me on how I'm gonna react to Vader and Kenobi fighting again. I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
I feel like I've moved on from being upset that they're going to, and now just worried about what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've accepted that it's gonna happen at this point, but I mean, I still just don't really like it. I would prefer it if they were parallel stories.
Yeah.
You know, and they never actually see each other, you know, but you're seeing Kenobi, you're seeing Vader, but they never actually cross paths. They might come close or something, or Kenobi comes in contact with, you know, the Inquisitors, obviously, and has fights with them. Vader comes in contact with other Jedi. You know, I think that would be, I would prefer that.
Arjun, real quick too, I had to hit you up, Joe. I miss your cartoons. Where are my cartoons at?
Oh no, that's right.
I miss my cartoons. Used to make the funniest sketches of our live streams. I looked like a rat with pubes coming out of my nose in all of his cartoons. Which I guess I still do at this point, but yeah. So
I just want to feel the urgency in the series, right? I felt like with Book of Boba Fett, every episode I was waiting for them to introduce the urgency, right? What I should care about, why, what the real motivation was, why were we going through all of this? And instead I got, for me, one endless amount of just, I don't know what it was, right? I really want to see, and let's have that urgency, right? Let's understand that. Let's build it. Then if they do meet in person, right? Let's have that make sense and culminate in a way that's quite satisfying and story dependent, and not just, well, they need to meet, throw them in, Okay, go on. Right, just like, box checked, they met, and away we go. I don't want that.
Yeah,
Right.
it was almost like more interesting to have watched like a day in the life of a small business owner owning his own accounting firm or something. It was just like you're watching it, and it's just like I don't. Why do I care about anything that's happening here?
Right. Everybody's telling him they don't respect him and how he's trash and nobody likes him, and he's got to hire like the lowest of, he's not getting like the homies, the big timers out here to help him out. It's like the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it just
People who
wasn't the
steal
Boba
water
Fett
to wash
character.
their speeder bikes.
Yeah, and it just wasn't the character that we had come to know over the years through games, books, comics, even the small amount of time he was on screen in the OT. Even though he was on a small amount of on the screen, small amount of the time in the OT, he still was very impactful in the way he carried himself in that short period of time. Gave you a sense of what kind of character he was.
Even when we saw him in The Mandalorian, he was a badass.
Yeah.
Bro, season 2 Mandalorian Boba Fett would kick the shit out of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But Rodriguez directed that episode though. So what happened?
Yeah.
So what happened? Did he get into
What the
drugs
hell
between then and then? Like what
I
happened?
think again that episode was bound in a very suspenseful, action-packed story, right? So yes, Rodriguez directed it, but he was directing action, adventure, kick-ass, and other than I think allowing Tem to help with some of the choreography and the fighting and all that, he was able to direct a well-scripted, kick-ass episode, right?
Yeah, but he was in more than that. I'm talking about when he meets up with the Mandalorians in the bar and he's beating them there, and when he's doing all the shit at the Imperial base. Like he was bad,
I think
bro.
all of that worked in the confines of that story, right? Where we went wrong in Book of Boba Fett is Favreau fucked the story up.
Yeah, he has a lot to a lot of the blame for sure with the writing of the character, without a doubt.
Well, and even Tem, there's recordings where Tem is like, "Hey, I don't think I should be doing this."
Yeah.
And Favreau's like, "You're gonna do it anyway." And it's like, man, you got to listen to. Look, he may not have been, Jeremy, but I mean, he's been Boba Fett basically since Django. So for the past, whatever you want to call it, 18 years, 20 years, he's been Django, he's been Boba, he's been the entire clone army. You might want to listen to him a little bit.
And then Tem tried to change it, right? Tem tried to change it while Favreau was away, right? He's like, well, let's do it this way. And then they call the motherfucker up. He's like, you're not doing it that way. You're doing it the way I told you to do it. I'm like, what is going on here? It's ridiculous.
100%, Spidey.
Oh, it was Spider-Man.
That is what destroys, I would say, 90% of the art in Hollywood is studio interference.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
A lot of people still give Sam Raimi hell for Spider-Man 3. They just won't let that go.
Well, I mean, why was Star Wars so successful? Because he did everything he could. Yeah. He did everything he could to stay away from the studios. And then when he blew up, he's like, I don't want your studio money. I want to do it myself.
Yeah.
There was no studio interference with the art, and that's why it was so successful. And people are like, oh, yeah, well, what about this movie that was funded by a big studio? Yeah, you can catch lightning in a bottle sometimes. Why was the original Lord of the Rings trilogy so successful? Because he was in some place called New Zealand, and studio execs were like, I'm not going out there. What do you mean, New Zealand? That's like a island in the ocean by Australia? I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got to do whatever he wanted to do, and he filmed it.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Cinematic genius. Lord of the Rings. I would put Lord of the Rings above Star Wars just as far as
No, he's talking about.
Did you?
What?
No,
I don't know.
Oh, wow. He just disappeared. What happened?
Vaporized. I don't know, man.
You didn't let me get to my butt part. But
the butt part? Oh, no, we're not talking about the butt part.
Not the butt.
But Star Wars is just a better story to me. I just love the Star Wars universe better. But as far as as far as just a film goes, like that was just, I mean, I think that was as close to a perfect trilogy of films as you can possibly get.
It's because it was
That
as
in
close
the
as you can get to a
OT.
direct adaptation of the person who made it.
Yeah.
That's why it was good. There's a reason Lord of the Rings made its way through the annals of history into modern day pop culture, is because it was an amazing story.
Yeah.
And the thing that pisses me off about Rings of Power, and then we're going to leave this in the dirt because this is a very sore spot for me. The thing that pisses me off about the Rings of Power is that they consistently say, we want to write the story that Tolkien never wrote. Well, there's a fucking reason why he never wrote it.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Give shit. Anyways, that's that. So I do have an interesting question for you guys, because I feel like it's a controversial topic, and something that I adore is Avatar. I love Avatar, and we just got the Avatar 2 trailer.
I hate
I
it.
am,
I did not like that movie.
I am hyped out of my fucking mind for Avatar 2. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I'm more excited for Avatar 2 than I am for Kenobi.
Nick, it is a sin to hate on Avatar. What are you doing?
I thought that movie was trash. That first movie.
We can't keep him anywhere.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I think somebody needs to be evaporated again.
I just did not like it. I didn't care anything about those characters or anything. Like, I just didn't like
Somebody
it.
block this guy. Who the fuck is that guy?
But I'm not, you know, the only one. I've hear tons and tons of people that say the same thing. I personally don't know that many people that even like Avatar or even care anything about the second movie.
Well, you know one.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I know one now.
They're wrong.
Did you guys not like Pocahontas? Because that's basically what it is.
No.
You didn't like Pocahontas?
No, it's Dances with Wolves. It's not Pocahontas.
I did like Dances with Wolves, though.
Well, then you should have liked Avatar. Look, here's the deal with Avatar.
I
And this is
watch
why.
fucking Dances with Wolves. I'm gonna watch Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But here's the deal.
Gosh.
Here's the big thing. Here's the big thing about Avatar. Everything that James Cameron did with that movie deserves the same amount of accolades that George did with his movies when it came to Star Wars, because it pushed movie making to a whole new fucking era. And this next one that's going to come out is going to do the same thing again. And look, if you don't want to spend 3 hours on an alien planet and fucking amazing oceans, learning about all kinds of cool shit and seeing different species and shit that looks like it exists on a different planet, then don't fucking watch it, because I want that movie theater to myself. So stay home.
They filmed the entire movie underwater, essentially. So that's why, really, he's doing it, man.
And the rumor is he's figured out how to do 3D on the big screen without glasses, and they're gonna do it in this movie.
Really?
What?
Wow. Interesting.
Wow.
I might check it out just because for that reason. Now we'll say
Zoe Saldana started crying in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
I will say this about the first Avatar movie. It was one of the first movies I saw on home video on a big screen HD TV that was 3D, and the 3D quality of that movie was done very well. The 3D.
Go ahead and say that again one more time. Say that one more time.
The 3D quality of the first Avatar movie was done extremely well. I think it's probably to this day probably the best 3D movie I've ever seen. Even though I didn't like the movie, I thought that the 3D quality of it was absolute top notch.
That's James Cameron, right? He said, "I want it in every format."
And I love James Cameron. I think he's.
Does James Cameron do bad movies?
Titanic.
He hasn't done one yet, to my knowledge, but Titanic was actually total.
I like Titanic.
The sinking of the boat. I just watched it.
My grandmother loves Titanic.
I like Titanic.
You want to talk about like a filmmaker who really dives into his research? He's gone deeper than anybody in the ocean. He spends all his time check it. Like, this is somebody who lives in the environment. Fuck yeah, I want to see it.
You know what? And James Cameron actually said something.
She started crying because she looked at her check and oh my god.
She's probably crying because that's how much she got paid, dude.
James Cameron made a statement once about when they were going to be doing another Terminator film, and whoever was directing the Rise of the Machines, the third Terminator film, was talking to Cameron, and James Cameron basically said, if there's going to be a third movie on this, you want to do it during the time of during the war with the machines, basically a prequel / time-wise sequel, I guess. But they didn't do that with the third movie of Terminator. And then, of course, they came out with the Christian Bale Terminator movie where they did that, but they completely changed it to modern time. It wasn't that original looking dark, gritty, with the blue laser rifles and all that. That's if you want another good Terminator film, James Cameron had it down. That's the time area you need to do it in. And
I have to bring up Mall Walker, bro. When the dude fell off the back and hit the propeller, peak CGI, that's still my favorite part of that movie. And what's horrible is somebody probably did that when that thing was going down. That probably happened. So I feel kind of bad, but bro, you are immortalized in our minds forever. So we remember you, Propeller Man.
Hats off to you.
Yeah.
This bud's for you.
I want a whole movie by James Cameron about Propeller Man. So it's Titanic 2, but it's just the propeller guy. And it's his whole story, right? And then the end is just he hits the propeller and rolls.
Then credits roll.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'll make it if he won't. I'll do it.
If he ever makes Titanic 2, # bring back Jack. He's stuck in the ice somewhere.
Oh God!
Yeah,
somehow Jack has returned.
They got Captain America. They got
Right?
Captain America out.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right, Nick.
They'd have to get the Titanic back first, right? Before they can make the Titanic.
Raise the Titanic.
Yeah.
And I just want to say shout out to Star Wars Ladage. First two Terminators, the only ones that count 100%, and True Lies is underrated 100%.
There's a True Lies series coming out now on CBS. They picked it up, some True Lies.
Without Arnold?
Apparently. Yeah.
Well, I will say Reacher on Amazon Prime without Tom Cruise playing Jack Reacher, it was an awesome show. So,
yeah, that's Thad from Blue Mountain State.
Alan Rickman or Richmond.
That ruined it for me. That's the problem. So the guy that plays Reacher in that show is Thad Thad from Blue Mountain State, which was just like the most ridiculous football comedy TV show. It was like a while back. Oh, dude, he had like Oreos in his butt cheeks running across the field, like talking about banging his pocket pussy named Olga, and like, and so I see him in the show, and I'm like, it's Thad. I can't take you seriously. It's Thad.
Matt, I have a question. Ronnie is joking, right?
I never know with Ronnie, right? Ronnie's still convinced they're going to kill Kenobi somehow in the Kenobi series. So when he says the Titanic wasn't real,
there's
know
no way.
He says the magic Titanic was real. That would be crazy.
Mo Walker knows what's up, dude. Oil changes. Oh God, that's funny.
But no, they should wait, Kenobi. Yeah, only thing I'm really upset about that is the thing with Reva, not because she's a Black Inquisitor, obviously. No. I'm upset because the leaks. Have you guys seen the leaks that came out recently?
I don't.
All right, before anybody proceeds any further, this was a spoiler-free stream. If you are not looking to talk or hear about any spoilers, leave the chat now. I'm going to give you 5 and a motherfucking 4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Get out of here because we're going to talk.
All right, Dan.
All right, let's go.
Arlena, are you sticking around?
I guess I'm just gonna stick around.
Arlena, I don't want to ruin it for you.
You're not gonna ruin it for me.
I have been sitting on these things.
It's just rumor leaks.
No.
But from the sounds of it, from the sounds of it, I'm guessing that they are probably true.
Yeah, so look here. Reva apparently,
I'm gonna go get a beer for this.
I wish I had.
Yeah, I
I wish
think
I
I'm
had
gonna
a
go
drink.
get my last bottle of liquor.
Get ready.
I'll be
Get
right
ready.
back.
We're getting
I'll
into
be
it,
right
guys.
back.
What's up, chat? Where you at? Kay's got her ears plugged.
Yeah, Dad Boy Steve. Don't tell Ronnie. He's still convinced Kenobi's gonna die.
Cloudman won't be surprised if they're real. God, I hope they're not real. Wait, Ronnie's 15.
Maybe 16 now. He's 15 or 16.
Hmm.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna lose Spider-Man. He's anti-leak.
See, the funny thing about leaks is before The Last Jedi, me and Coach were like, we're staying away from everything. We don't want to know nothing.
Right.
After The Last Jedi, man, we do not care about any leaks. We want to know what we're getting ourselves into.
You got to at this point, right?
Yeah.
Shit. That's basically going to determine if you're going to watch the show now at this point.
Well,
Okay, I got
I
my
mean-
peach. But what the hell is this? Peach Bellini?
Ugh.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but
I
it's
cannot do
alcohol,
that.
so-
Matt, can you do that flavored whiskey? Like apple, vanilla?
No, the only one I can do is Screwball, the peanut butter whiskey.
Ain't no wrong
I
with
cannot do
Crime Royal
flavor.
Apple, Nick.
Oh god, I can't drink it.
I've
can't
tried
drink it.
Crown. I've tried all the different Crown flavors, and I'm like, I just can't. They all taste
Yeah.
fake to me.
Yeah, I can't do it. Give me the real stuff, unflavored.
You know what? What about some Grey Goose?
I can't drink vodka. Last time I did, Coach was with me, and he could tell you that story, but it was not a pretty sight.
Oh no, I heard what you guys got into at ICC, man. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking
yeah.
about. We were perfectly behaved at ICC.
Very well behaved.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach took the bid ticket. He ran away.
Yeah.
Get off me, man! Get off me, man!
Get off me, man!
Yeah,
And then he went and grabbed my underwear and tried to pull them out of my pants.
He did. It's on video. It's on video.
Discourse. But everybody got their drinks though.
All right, Dan.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Peach
Yeah,
Bellini,
it's
whatever
time.
the hell it
I
is.
grabbed the strongest thing I had. So
All right. So yeah, my girl Reva. I was,
not a late night unless we do this, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So
I'm
yeah.
drinking water, so
What? What? Nick is drinking water?
I
on a late night?
haven't had a drink since earlier this week. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and I had a drink, but
Yeah, we don't allow pussies in here, so we're gonna go ahead and
I've had very little since the meetup. Just because I'm back doing my my
'Cause you had so
fasting,
much
my
during the
fasting
meetup.
routine.
Ooh, a fasting, huh?
Yeah, like the only thing I've had to eat in the last 2 days is a couple pieces of bacon.
I quit drinking for a week
Not bacon.
after ICCC. I was in a world of hurt on
Yeah.
that Monday.
Yeah, you were.
I was in such a world of hurt. I paid $300 to move my flight. I was in that much pain.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
I was not in a good spot. Arlena saw me at my worst.
Yeah.
That's why you always at these meetups that you guys go to, you never fly out the next day after the big meetup night.
Yeah,
because
bad
you
idea.
will feel like shit.
It was the day after the day after.
You always do it the day after.
I did it the
Everything
day
was
after
left.
the day after, and I was still in rough shape.
Yeah,
Nick,
but
you left the same day we did on
Kind of.
Monday.
Hangover
yeah,
did you have?
I left on Monday, but the thing is, Sunday night was kind of like just an easy chill. Yeah, we were drinking and stuff, but it wasn't like anything crazy.
No,
Like,
I was chilling, which is still a mystery as to why I was on my deathbed on Monday.
Because you
Yeah.
never recovered from Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Plus,
It
you
was
gotta
back to
learn
back
how
to
to.
back.
You gotta learn how to pace yourself.
I was
You gotta learn how to
paced.
pace
That's the
yourself.
problem.
It
Yeah.
was good. I was hanging out with everybody, having a good time,
Hell
and then
yeah.
boy, Sunday rolled around and I felt so bad. I was like, maybe if I just have a couple beers, I'll feel better. And then Monday, I was like, nah, this is the worst thing I could have done.
Well, Mexican Iron Man buying everybody drinks is what kind of tipped it all off.
That started.
Yeah.
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 But all right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get leaky.
Before you do it, Dan, just Obsession. We're doing spoilers. I saw Obsession in the chat. So
Obsession's here.
Oh yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we're doing spoilers. So don't stay.
You
Don't
better
stay.
not be here. We're doing Kenobi leaks.
Who's
All
this?
right, let's hear him.
Okay, boom. So my girl Reva, man, she apparently gets the word out that she finds out about the whole Vader, Anakin, Luke being the son and all that. And basically she's the only one, like, I think around episode 5 or 6, she finds this out, and it ends on a cliffhanger like, oh God, what's she gonna do with this? She's gonna turn Luke into her apprentice, or like, what's she gonna do? So she essentially has her redemption when she's with Kenobi again. Kenobi basically doesn't do anything to her. He lets her be, and he's like, because he believes that she's gonna make the right call. And so she goes to Tatooine where Luke is and draws her lightsaber out, and Luke's kind of terrified, pissing his pants and whatnot, but she doesn't kill him. She leaves him alone because she remembers what happened to her when she was in the temple. And it'll be revealed that she's one of the kids that Anakin, those younglings you like to kill, Arlena, she was one of them. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I missed her. X-Wing.
oh.
Yeah. Doesn't happen for free. Sorry. No, that's kind of my shtick, my problem with it towards the end. And I've had a lot of in-depth conversation with a lot of Star Wars fans about like why this ending is kind of upsetting to me. And the idea of the Inquisitor turning to the light has been done already. We saw it with Trilla in Jedi Fallen Order, and I can't say that it was done better in Fallen Order, but A, the story's been told. B, the fact that she was able to get to Luke means that Kenobi failed as a protector. And so that's what bums me out, is that like you're going back and you're changing a story and I understand it doesn't change anything because everything still happens. But the fact that she made it to Luke and could have killed him means that Kenobi failed. What if she didn't? That means Luke dies. He failed. Right. Like the whole thing just kind of pisses me off because this Jedi Master, the sacred protector of Luke, failed. He failed. Right. Regardless of whether or not she kills him, he failed.
He failed Anakin. He failed Luke.
Yep.
Like
he broke his.
It's like he is a huge loser. Like Kenobi is a big, huge bitch, you know. And
but that's the thing though, Nick and X-Wing, is that when she doesn't do it, my issue is when she decides not to do it, she, instead of just leaving and dipping and going her own way, Shorty goes back to Vader to try and lie and tell Vader that I've killed Kenobi, and Vader's like, bitch, please, I couldn't even kill Kenobi. Then he kills her.
Bro, and I'm like, it's so easy though to fix that, to not make Kenobi a failure. All he has to do is have her try to go through with it, and Kenobi stops her, speaks to her, and turns her to the light, and then she goes to Vader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's so fucking easy. That's such a small change just for that to happen, and you don't make Kenobi look shitty. That's it. That's all you have to do. You do a little bit of change. And you reaffirm the fact that Kenobi is dead ass always going to be about the Jedi. Always going to be about the Jedi. So if he stops her and is like, turn back to the light, the Jedi are the way, blah, 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 and she goes for it, like that's a strengthening of his character, not a weakening of his character.
But I do think he shows up when she's there with the lightsaber and calls out to her, and I think they converse previous to this, and I do think they have a moment right around what happened to her and how Kenobi feels responsible, and the Jedi didn't work out, and let's still try and make this right in some way, and think about it, right? And then fast forward and she's there and the lightsaber's out and he shows up and I'm sure he says something like, Reva, don't do this. And I'm sure he was ready to interfere and intercede at that point, right? I think the issue that a lot of folks are going to have is, number one, how did she figure it out, right? Was she just that smart, right? But how did she figure it out when no one else could have? And then she does apparently, she beats Kenobi back to Tatooine because he's dealing with Vader.
Well, and that's the other thing. How did Reva figure it out when literally Anakin motherfucking Skywalker couldn't figure it out?
Right.
It's his home planet. It's his aunt and uncle. You telling me Vader couldn't figure that out?
Again, the plot leaks say that part of the reason why she figured it out is when they had Leia under interrogation at Nur. After Kenobi rescued her, and Reva puts together, why does Kenobi care about Leia? Well, Kenobi's on Tatooine. What's he doing on Tatooine? Well, he seems to care about Luke too. And then I think that what's unclear to me is if the Inquisitors know that Vader is Anakin Skywalker. Because I don't know about you all, it doesn't take a brain surgeon. The kid's name is Luke fucking Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
well, that was something that's a problem. Yeah.
Put a few things together, and then you get Kenobi in the middle of both Leia and Luke. Leia's under interrogation. She's in the middle of it. Bail Organa and Kenobi, and it's all interwoven in a way.
I don't even know. Like,
where she puts it all together and does figure it out. And I think the reason why she doesn't tell anyone is this inner conflict between her and the fifth brother, and the Grand Inquisitor doesn't think she's worth anything, and they're all fighting with each other to get Vader's favor, right? So she goes there to do her thing without telling anyone because she wants the credit. Then it doesn't work out, and Dan's right. She goes back, she lies to Vader. Vader's like, you're stupid. He kills her in a rage. And it ends up being the case that Reva saved Luke.
Exactly. And another thing too, X-Wing, Reva did what Maul almost was about to do anyway, had Obi-Wan not killed him, because Maul was close to piecing the clues together too.
Close to, he had it figured out.
He did. Yeah, he did figure it out.
Well, he said protecting someone, but he didn't get close to figuring out that he was protecting like Luke, the son of Anakin.
But if you remember when Kenobi does kill Maul and Kenobi's holding Maul there, Maul says he is the one, right?
Oh shit,
that's worth it.
He will avenge us.
And Kenobi's like, he's worth it. And
yeah.
Maul's like, then you do it for us, and then he's done.
That's right.
So.
And the other thing I have an issue with here is if she's holding Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, and Luke, hostage with her lightsaber, and there's like a fight or something with the lightsabers, and then you go to Obi-Wan saying, "Oh, that reminds me, I got something here your father wanted you to have. It's your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi," and he's explaining it as if Luke doesn't even know what this is, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool," and but he's these lightsabers when he's a kid, but now Obi-Wan's having to explain to him.
My big question would be like, if all this goes down and she finds Luke and she knows what's going on and all that stuff happened, blah blah blah, how is Luke allowed to or still able to live in the same spot for the next, and Vader kills Reva, right? Because she's like, "Oh, I found somebody," all this different shit. How is he able to still live on that planet unmolested for X amount of years? And then all of a sudden the Empire finds him again, and oh my God, now we've killed Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Yeah. I hope that's a big thing they're going to have to basically explain away.
Yeah.
Or they won't at all.
How many people turned on like the mob in mob movies and then stayed in their same home, after going into witness protection, no, they completely went somewhere else. So you would think that, if this happened, people found out Luke was Anakin's son, Obi-Wan would be like, "You guys aren't safe staying here. You guys need to pack up and leave."
That just happened in Bloodline in the Princess Leia novel when they found out she was in the Imperial, or not the Imperial Senate, the New Republic Senate.
Was Vader's daughter. Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, it's Vader's daughter," and the entire galaxy is like, "Bro, fuck that hoe." We don't want her in here at all.
I was gonna say
They all turned against her. Yep.
Yeah.
a smart ass comment, but I don't want X-Wing to kick me out, so I'll keep it to myself.
I'm gonna give you a fair shake.
All right. So they're gonna retcon it to say that that sand planet they were on, not in episode 4, but what we're thinking is Tatooine in the Kenobi show. The Owen was really on Jakku.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, if they did that, like people would be face palming left and right.
Yeah.
What is
I
going
will
on?
say from a parallels perspective, I guess if these leaks are true and you think about it, both in A New Hope and in the series, Leia's the reason why it gets into trouble on Tatooine twice.
Yeah.
Really?
Right? You know what I mean? It's in this series, and then again,
And then again in A New Hope. Yeah.
Droids,
So
right?
I have a question.
Turns out Princess Leia is just a piece of shit.
But Leia doesn't even supposed to know Obi-Wan. She was sent there and she's like, General Kenobi, you helped my father. Like she doesn't know who he is. You don't get any sense of that.
When Luke rescued her in A New Hope, she was excited. She said something like, "Kenobi, where is he?"
Yeah, that's because
you served my father in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's because she was told who to go get. That was her mission. To go get him.
I think
that doesn't mean they run into each other, though.
I don't think. I think the way they'll get around this problem in this series is when Kenobi rescues Leia, he's not going to walk up to her and say, "Nice to meet you. I'm General Ben Kenobi."
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Say, let's get out of here. I'm here to help, and he'll never give his name or anything. And so she has, and I don't think Bail then is going to tell her either.
He'll be like a stranger to her, Nick. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So fast forward to her leaving that message, General Kenobi or whatever. As far as she knows, she's never met the guy.
How many adults do you remember from being 9 years old?
Not many.
Tons.
Dude, not tons.
He's like, I remember when my uncle took me to that cabin in Galveston.
Because I mean, Mo Walker's saying in the chat that,
Oh my God.
Mo Walker's saying in the chat that Bail does tell Leia about Kenobi. Yes, but I don't think that includes a picture page, right? Here's Ben Kenobi, right? When he had his picture made.
Maul Walker, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I pray that it doesn't go down that way. But the way the dude was speaking in those leaks, he is very convinced that that is what will happen in the show.
So this is my question: where do these leaks come from?
He got these leaks. MakingStarWars.net got these leaks from visiting the set and talking to people that he knows who work on the production.
They look, it's been rock solid the whole way through. People have problems with the guy, and there's things and this and that and all this different stuff. But the bottom line is the info has been on since I think Last Jedi.
Yeah, he has.
When I started following him, and it went all the way through up until now, they've hit every single time. Yeah, it's hit every single time.
He talked about Luke and Grogu being in Boba, about some sequel stuff that was right. Like, dude,
he had the Rise of Skywalker plot before it came out, and that's what I read, and I was like, well, Rise of Skywalker is the death of Star Wars. Yeah.
And mostly the reason why I believe these are true is the story sounds plausible to me, right? I'm not saying I like it necessarily.
Well, and we've already seen stuff in the trailers that coincides with everything that's come out. So,
yeah, like Nari's unfortunate early death.
Nari and all the stuff that's going down on Dayu and all that. And we already saw the droid that was talking about, that was Leia's droid. That's the pickpocket. It's basically the Wicket of Star Wars. Yeah. It's all there, dude.
So is that Forlom or Zuckuss that we see in the trailer?
Forlom, I believe.
That's Forlom. Yeah. That's Forlom.
And that was leaked, I think, by Bespin Bulletin or Star Wars Newsnet. They're like, we saw something that looked like a Forlom, and then of course in the trailer she's like, send out the send the bounty hunters, and then
the only thing that Jason has not leaked are those cameos that Deborah Chow's been teasing for like ever.
I think she means Leia, right? Leia is out.
Well,
and about.
Leia, Bail Organa.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything.
Maybe a
those
Mon Mothma, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Do you think we're going to see them in there?
yeah,
Bail,
Bail for
Mon
sure.
Mothma.
Yeah.
Bail is
Qui-Gon's
Qui-Gon's
going to be there. Qui-Gon's going to be there in corporeal
Jimmy
form.
Smits, he's going to reprise the role.
As far as I know, but they've cast someone as his wife, or she's supposed. There is an actress that.
Yeah, it's not the same chick, right? From
it's not her.
And apparently, we're gonna see Alderaan a couple of times, right? They have said so it's gonna be,
Yeah.
I feel like they've done a good job with the trailers of showing us everything people are not going to be happy with. Legitimately, yeah. Tatooine and then Dio, like that's what we've seen, and people are like, "The show's gonna fucking suck."
Well, and putting Ner there was supposed to get the Fallen Order folks all ready to go, right? They're like, "Oh my God, we're seeing it in live action," so they did a good job of putting that in.
Yeah.
There might be a connection with Ice Cube's son to Forrest Whitaker's character in Rogue One.
Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera.
What if X-Wing? What if one of the cameos is Mace Windu?
I knew she was going to bring that up. I fucking knew it.
I mean,
it makes the most sense for him to pop up during this.
No, it made sense, and Book of Boba Fett doesn't fucking make sense in this show. So here's my deal. So, the Saw Gerrera thing, yeah, there's a fringe group of rebels. I guess you'd call them that. What are they? They're not called the Separatists.
Partisans.
Separatist partisans. Yeah, same shit. Separatist carries a different weight in the Star Wars universe, but. The partisans are basically, I would call like the beginning of Saw Gerrera's, psychopathic rebels. Yeah. And then beyond that, with the Mace Windu thing, I don't see it happening here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the show that he shows up and I'm like, it would never fucking happen here. Because there are 1,000 places you could put Mace Windu that makes sense, and this is the one fucking show that doesn't. So yeah, Disney would 100% put him in the show. Yeah,
and also,
I think it makes sense here.
What the fuck would Mace Windu even do?
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
But it makes sense for him to show up in Book of Boba Fett 5 years after Jedi, when he was older than Obi-Wan in the prequels, and Obi-Wan was as old as he was in episode 4.
100%. I mean, when you think about characters, who would he show up to kill or be in a fight with?
Also, wasn't Count Dooku like 112?
I'm just saying, think about it. Who killed Boba Fett's dad? Who would Boba Fett want to fight?
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah, I get that, but the time period just doesn't. It seems like too much time's passed for Mace to still be alive.
Oh yeah, no. If he is alive, they would need to explain where you have been, what have you been up to, and why are you showing up now?
Well, no, I think Nick is was just referring to from a pure age perspective.
Yeah, from a pure age perspective for the character in this universe.
Did you see Yoda with a fucking cane walking around, and then he busts a lightsaber out and starts doing backflips off of fucking starships and shit? Like, I don't want to hear it.
He's human though.
Doesn't matter. He's got the Force. Dude. Yoda's at the end of his life at basically Attack of the Clones. He's like done. He's done. Well, call it Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. He's done. Like, he's got maybe 20 years left over a fucking 900-year lifespan. Like, he's done. He's old. Mm-hmm. But he uses the Force to fight out one last big fight. You telling me a human can't do that? Only Grogu species can do that? God, that pisses me off.
No, I mean, I don't think that he couldn't at an old age, but I just don't see him still being alive regardless of that at that point in time during Book of Boba Fett. I mean, and if he was, like, he would literally be fair, like, in a walker.
We don't know how long the people who live on Harun Kal live. Like, maybe people on Harun Kal live until they're 200, I don't know. Harun Kal is a fucking horrible place. You never know.
I mean, they could spin it to make it work however they wanted it to work.
If May showed up in Boba Fett, he would have clapped Boba and Fennec Shan.
Oh, in a
yeah.
heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he had a cane.
Yeah.
He's like the old grandpa from the Boondocks. You ever watch that show? He
Oh,
walks up, he's like,
God.
"You dumb motherfuckers," and pulls
Yeah,
out a
yeah.
lightsaber.
I think, guys, we might just have to resign ourselves to the fact that Mace Windu ain't coming back, right?
Dude, at this point, like the
Samuel
one
wants to come back.
I
He wants
know.
to.
Yeah, but the one I wanted is gone now. You know, the one fight I wanted is fucking gone. Like it was Boba Fett Windu. That was the fight, and now it's gone. So
Yeah, but if that fight happened, do you see it realistically going in the direction of Boba Fett winning that?
yeah, 100%.
I mean, if he's not the way he was acting and the way he was in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, if he clapped Mace at the end of the Book of Boba Fett the way that he acted during the show, yeah, I call bullshit 100%.
Yeah.
The dude couldn't even fight a Wookiee, bro. You think he's gonna kill a Jedi Master? I don't care how old he is. He's not gonna kill shit.
No, the
Couldn't kill a
mods,
womp rat, dude.
the mods would come in and kill Windu.
Yeah. Oh boy, you want to talk about pissing me off?
That would be horrible.
The internet would have broke.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Power Ranger Squad.
Yeah. I want to see that.
For me, it depends on how they do Kenobi. If like I told y'all, I am excited about it. If they do Kenobi well, I don't mind them bringing Mace back some point, sometime. But if they really fuck Kenobi up, I don't want them to touch Mace.
But
I just had a thought. I have to share this with you before I lose it because I feel like this is the most amazing intro for fucking Mace Windu ever.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that scene when Palpatine throws the saber out of his cuff?
Yep.
And it kind of lands in his hand. I want to see that, but I want to see it with Mace Windu and the saber flies into his hand and then in Aurebesh, not in English, in Aurebesh, on the side of his lightsaber it says "motherfucker" in Aurebesh.
Hell yeah!
Let's go.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be dope.
And then from that point on, whatever happens, I don't care because he got his thing.
Yeah. Give it to me now.
The thing is, if he shows up in Kenobi, I think from the character's age standpoint, he's still at an age to where he could actually be of some sort of threat, and then at that point in time, maybe he fights Vader or something, or the Inquisitors, and he actually really does die this time, or something.
Mm-hmm. He goes out saving Kenobi.
Yeah, I'd like to see him have a noble death.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to have a warrior's death because I feel like he kind of did in the prequels, but he needs to have the death that's deserving of a knight like fucking Mace Windu.
Yeah.
A Windu versus Vader fight. How you see
that? Could you imagine?
Or Vader and like 2 or 3 Inquisitors, and he's taking all of them on, and it takes that much to finally take him out, Like
I want them to make a quip about each other's robotic arms. He's all nice arm, Windu. He's all you too, mother.
Yeah, and on top of that, he gets in this fight to stall them and give Obi-Wan an opportunity to get away, to get back to Luke or to get to Leia or whatever,
I like that so much better than the dark Mace Windu theory. Like everybody's like, oh well, if we got Mace Windu back, he'd be like a dark Mace Windu who wants to kill Luke and end the Skywalker line. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't really like the dark Windu.
If anything, Mace would trust Luke more than he trusted Anakin in the entirety of the Clone Wars. What are they talking about?
Yeah, but he never trusted Anakin. Never.
Like, no, not even when they were stuck on that planet. No.
Man, can you imagine that? Bad guy shows up and Mace turns around and he's like, take a seat, young Skywalker. And then just like rips somebody up. Let's go.
Yes. Now I'm going to be mad if Nick's pitch doesn't happen. Damn it, Nick.
I'm telling you, I think Disney would do a lot better off if they had some ultra passionate fans that really know Star Wars and these characters and stuff to kind of give some pushback and be like, and some explanation like, hey, think about maybe doing this or that. I think it would make for such much better content coming from them.
Sure.
That's how Bobby Rod trap, bro. That's what Robert Rodriguez said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can rest assured that one of the cameos we will not be seeing in Kenobi will be Mace Windu.
Well, dude, do you
Yeah, I
remember
don't see it
when
happening.
when
Makes me
John
sad.
Favreau was talking about R2D2, and
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, he was almost in tears, and he was talking about how
tearing up.
important it was to. Who wrote Book of Boba, bro?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
who can you trust anymore?
Speaking of droids, Matt, do you remember the look on Anthony Daniels' face when I said, "Hey, we see R2 in all these shows. Where's 3PO at?" And he just looked down at the ground and was like, "I don't know."
That guy was a boss, man.
Oh.
Well, and I mean, what he didn't want to say, right, which again was the theme of his book, is they can bring R2 out all they want. They don't have to. There's no actor in R2 anymore, right? They bring Anthony Daniels out as C-3PO now, and the money's coming. Money's got to show up along with that.
I didn't get as much time as you guys did with his little smoke break outside, but the brief, whatever it was, a minute 30 I had with him, he was stellar.
Yeah, we
Stellar
chatted
dude.
with him for a good 10 minutes.
I know.
I didn't get that. I wish I would have been there, man.
They were beside themselves
cool.
trying to get him back inside. I was finally like, all right, well, don't let us keep you. And they're like,
Yeah.
you got to get back inside now.
Yeah.
So,
Legendary.
it's great.
But it was so nice meeting these people, these stars that we grew up watching, and them or reading their books or whatever the case was, and them being so nice and so willing to talk and take pictures and do all that stuff. And not even all the ones that we grew up with, the ones more recent, like Anna Graves. Yeah.
Yo, Timothy Zahn is a fucking beast.
Yeah, he was super cool.
I'm gonna love that
Oh,
man for the
man.
rest of my life, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was a savage. He's like, pictures? Wait, you like my stories? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have 40 other people that want to meet you. He's like, really? Oh, bring them in. I'm like, I can't.
and like we've said before, they had him stuffed over in that corner.
In that corner, yeah.
It's
Good
like,
spot.
wow.
He was
I
at
mean,
the
which
back
was
of the
fine with me because he was easy to access and just go up and talk.
Yeah.
He was at the back of the con with like a little bitty picnic table, and I'm like, "You're Timothy Zahn," and I just walked right up to you. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can I buy a book?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever you want." I bought a book. He's like, "Do you want me to sign it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want me to personalize it?" I'm like, "Yeah." But what's crazy is that I could tell he was writing down personalized names because he could tell who was trying to like buy his books and sell them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think when he saw that we were all just like fans trying to get a personalized signed copy of Heir to the Empire, he was like, "Homies, you like my stories?" I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking love your stories." Like, "Oh yeah, let's go.
And he'll be there. He's been there like 2 or 3 times, so I'm sure he'll be there again next year. And I've got to remember to take my first edition hardcover Thrawn
I remember
series
to
books.
take mine. Yep.
When it was
Speaking of Arlena, did you get the lightsaber I mailed to you?
I haven't
You
checked
didn't mail
the
me a
tracking.
fucking lightsaber. I don't know.
Well, she sent it home with me for me to mail.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
it's.
couldn't get it on the
I'll send
plane.
you the address to make sure you get it to the right spot.
I'm gonna make it my mission to
no.
get them next year. For sure.
I haven't checked the tracking yet, Nick. I gotta check it.
I saw the photo of Zahn standing next to X. Tim was so lucky.
Who was it that got
I'm blushing.
You guys got Ashley or Sam Whitworth to wish Josh a happy birthday?
Ashley. It was
No, that was
Ashley
no.
Eckstein, JT.
Jake. Oh, Jake.
Yeah, JT got like the entire Clone Wars panel to sing him happy birthday. And then they wrote on his arm. He got it tattooed. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he actually got that thing tattooed on his arm. Yeah.
Wow.
So savage, dude. That guy, I have never seen a human like he looked like he just came out of a firefight. He
He
walked
was
back out to the table and he's
shaking.
like,
Oh my god.
he's like, guys, I just was inside the con and they were saying hi to me. I'm like, bro, you gotta take her down. You're okay.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Do you need an ice bag?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You give the man a Valium or something, right?
That whole
To
experience
calm
was just
down.
wild, dude. It was so wild.
Man, it was so much fun. I can't wait till next year.
Went by too
Yeah, I'm
fast.
making it.
Too fast.
No, I'm
Oh,
definitely gonna get early tickets this time. But I was already in Tennessee like the week before you guys, so I'll definitely be there again next year with you.
I don't know if Coach wants me to come back. Apparently, I shook his hand too many times. Can't help myself.
Yeah, I'll be curious. So once Michael Havens announces next year's, of course we'll announce it and on the channel, and we'll start planning it. It's probably going to be this fall. He'll probably announce it like September timeframe, maybe.
Oh, my birth month. Cool.
Hey.
He better want us back. He's been using us for free advertising, right? I saw our
Yeah.
picture on his Twitter and everything.
Yeah.
I've been talking about it like crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Have you guys talked about the Kevin Feige, Michael Waldron Star Wars movie? How it's not going to be connected to any sequel, spinoff, Mandalorian Star Wars movie?
Yeah,
Standalone story.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm good with that.
It's a safe move by them, because if they can do a standalone story that doesn't happen during any point in time during the OT prequel or sequel time frame, there's not really a whole lot for them to screw up.
What more than they haven't screwed up already, right? No, they can. Yeah, you're right, Nick. They just gotta, I wonder who's gonna direct that.
You missed the whole last segment where we argued about
know,
Pandora
drinking
and
Pandora.
Avatar for like half
Your
an hour.
Your name is Pandora. You should be happy.
That's what he's saying. Watch Avatar.
I read his comment completely wrong. I thought it said we should be talking about Star Wars, not Avatar.
Oh.
I was fighting for my life with the panel. Nick, you said you hated Avatar?
Yeah, I was not a fan of Avatar. Not
the fuck
looking
is
forward
wrong
to the
with you, man?
second one. I will not go see it in the movie. Who knows if I'll ever even watch it.
I'm so glad that. Do me a favor. I'm gonna buy your ticket and then just leave an empty seat next to me so I can keep all my treats and stuff right next to me. I'm so excited, dude. It's gonna be great. Great.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I left off. What were we talking about right before that?
The Michael Waldron, Kevin Feige Star Wars movie.
Yeah, so I mean that's something that like I have vehemently tried to fight for, is that like, dude, we need to get new stories, get away from my legacy characters, try some new stuff, do something else, just get out.
Different.
Unless it's post Return of the Jedi, I don't care. Just tell me something. Like, I'm talking like you can make it about a fucking citizen on Coruscant. I don't give a damn. Just
The Death Stick guy.
Yeah, Dan. Like, I mean, like, dude, there's literally unlimited spaces of time that you can take from the Star Wars universe. And again, I'll argue, look about Rogue One. This was a story that was self-contained in a period in the original trilogy that did connect, but it didn't try to connect too hard. It was just a story about people doing heroic things. You can do that in the prequels. You can do that in like all these different spaces, but you can also just fuck off. Go to the old Republic. Like, you can go way in the future. I'm totally fine with way in the future. And people are saying like, oh, do you remember the heroes of the rebellion? You remember the heroes of the old, like, you know, you're talking about Han and Leia and Luke, these guys that are, you know, long since dead, and now they've become legends in this universe. Like, I'm super okay with that.
And it's a new Jedi Council. It's a new Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And they're learning about these heroes.
But instead of doing that, they're like, hey, guess what? Every fucking character you've ever heard of in Star Wars has been on the Halcyon.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Legit.
And in the future on the new Jedi Council, it'll be like, this council was created by Rey Skywalker a long time ago.
But they all went for they all went for a Disney cruise line on the Halcyon. Like, come on, dude.
But I will tell you one story that I would love for them to do that I think would work is if it was like a follow-up sequel to Rogue 2, and it took place during the time of Return of the Jedi with the Bothan spies, where they get the plans for the second Death Star. Because when Mon Mothma was telling that story, and you see the look on her face where she's like, many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Did I tell you that was my entrance into Star Wars YouTube? I was on a stream. I was on a stream with Theory. Like, you know, there's like 1,600 people watching, and they're like, "What'd you think of Rogue One?" I'm like, "I loved Rogue One, but what about the Bothans?" And Josh Lucas from Den of Nerds is like, that was the Death Star too.
Yeah.
And there's like fake fan, and I'm like, oh fuck, I wasn't paying attention.
X-Wing was so sweet on Theory stream. He was so, you know, different back then.
He was innocent.
What? I was so different back then?
Like you were innocent, you know.
Now you've been corrupted with the Star Wars.
We don't deal with any negativity around here. Can't have that. Can't have that.
What did I even say? Hold on.
We have corrupted him.
Speaking of corruption, your girl, Darth Vader, that thumbnail talent chick, they need to start fucking around and bring her in. Too.
I would love for them to bring talent in. Oh my god, how I wish they would bring.
Dude,
it was supposed to be, bro. It was supposed to be. That was George's sequel trilogy. Was Maul ran the universe and yeah.
Man, look, if they made a Brotherhood Council movie with her, the son, and Tor Valen remaking the Galaxy in their own image, I need some shit like that.
Hell yeah.
So if I thought about this, if I won the lottery and I had the money, like I had like
she was not working,
like a $800 million or something, I would literally reach out to George Lucas and be like, I want to make your movies, and I'll pay for the whole entire thing, and it will be released for free, and I won't make a cent off of it, and we'll drop it on freaking YouTube for free for everybody. And I would literally spend money to get that made and have like a full production crew and everything, just to see George's vision come to life, whether it's good or not. The
only I guess sad thing about that is you won't get no Grogu, but if it's for the sake of Star Wars, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch it.
Darth Talon was going to get a massive change and end up being a clone of Maul.
Where'd you read that at?
I never heard that one.
If anything, she might have been his love interest, maybe.
Dude, here's the shitty thing about the High Republic stuff. This is what sucks, man. Like, if they didn't let the authors say anything, people would have read those stories and probably been pretty okay with them. And I can say that because I picked the one book that I knew was going to be the most controversial. It was the one with the Rock geode. And I was like, I'm going to pick the one that's the worst. And I read it and I was like, oh, it was pretty good Star Wars.
Nick got it.
Hey.
There's his action figure.
And the funny thing is, like, man, he's the best character in that story. He's the best character in the story. Yeah, he's the best character in that story. Like, he doesn't do shit. But somebody will be like, you know, they're in the cockpit talking to somebody, and then like you walk down to the galley and they're talking in the kitchen and they're like revealing something super personal, and the fucking Rock is just behind him. I'm like, how the fuck did you get down here? It's just like it's sitting right behind him. It's just funny. Like, it sounds like It's basically what it is, which is the writer's boyfriend got stoned in a car and thought about something that would be funny, and it made it into the book. But it's not a bad story. It's a decent story, and it's got strong Jedi that do the Jedi shit that we want to hear and we want to see. You know, you got a badass Jedi who does stasis and swinging lightsabers and getting in fights and all that good stuff. It's a good book. Claudia Gray writes good Star Wars stories, but
She does.
the marketing that they put behind the High Republic is what murdered them. It murdered the High Republic because they let their authors come out and go, you know, like, hey, I'm really, I just want you to know, like, I'm about representation, and I want to put my gayness in stories, and I want to talk about how much I love like banging girls, even though I'm a girl, or I like banging dudes because I'm a dude. And it's like nobody cares, dude. We're here
Nobody
for
wants
Star
that in their
Wars.
damn Star Wars.
I don't care how you feel about your life. We're here to go to Star Wars.
We watch Star Wars to get away from reality, not to get deeper into it. God damn it.
How successful
that's why
would
I'm
my
not a
channel
fan of
be
the
if I just talk
PTSD
about my
thing.
life problems? Like,
PTSD, Nick?
no one gives a
for the
shit.
Kenobi show.
There's a Doomcock did a video about Congress trying to take away Disney's copyright stuff, and I've seen the video. If they give power back to the fans, God, I hope so. That needs to like happen, you know, right now.
Yeah, we'll see
Well,
what
the
happens.
lottery is up to, what is it? The Powerball, or one of them is up to 99 million, I think.
Oh, wow.
Almost 100 million. Yeah.
Oh, we
99 million. Is
you
what
hear
it's
that,
at.
Nick? Hit that lottery and save Star Wars.
I would take a payout. I would pay off my house, all my bills, and then I would hire a production company and do a fan film.
What you got, Dan the Man, right there. You're
Yeah.
hired, buddy.
Got you, bro. Yes. Let me direct that shit. I got you. Moff, what's up, man?
Not a lot. I was just thinking about what Nick was saying. I think I read a story. I heard somebody, might have been Robert Meyer Burnett, said Francis Ford Coppola sold his winery and all that for, I don't know, 130 or 140 million dollars, and he's self-funding his next movie.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
like who the fuck has that much money? Like 140 million dollars? Like
That
I would
one-
just
that
buy
Coppola.
I would buy my town. Like
No, he's sold his winery, and he's using the money to. He's got big stars in the movie. I forget what it's called. Making his own movie. Crazy.
I just want to see what would happen if you just load up X-Wing with like a bucket, a truckload of money.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? First thing I'm gonna do is hit up Live Long with the Force. She runs a charity where she gets Star Wars books and Star Wars figures out to kids who can't get them. Like, let's load that bitch up. Hell yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Felicity.
She's not a bitch. I'm sorry. I meant the charity. Let's load the bitch up. Yeah.
The movie is Megalopolis. Felicity remember the name of the movie. Megalopolis. That's the movie that Coppola is making.
Oh, and don't let me forget. So X-Wing and Moff did a stream, I think, a couple of weeks ago with Nikki, and I've been trying to find it, but I can't. And I think you guys were talking about the state of Star Wars, and you might have had a couple other folk up here. Do you know what
we
you're
hide
talking
them.
about?
Yeah, they always go private. All
Yeah,
these
every
go
late
private.
night goes private.
Yep.
Oh, damn! I was trying to watch that.
Sorry, man. If you're looking for subs, no, this is not the place.
Subs? No.
No, this is we keep it private here. We have these conversations, and then at the end of the night, they go
bye.
Oh, kaput.
Yep.
Or sometimes
No
it's the next morning, but it just depends.
Yeah, it depends. Usually it's the next morning because
It depends
most
on
late
how
nights I'm too drunk to private it.
X-Wing is.
Oh,
You should open up the late night to your top tier channel members.
It's open to anybody who wants to come and talk.
No, he means
No.
private
I'm
and-
saying the streams after they're done.
Oh, how do you do that?
You just go in there and once it's
members only.
yeah, and then you select the tier.
That's a good idea.
And then people that want to catch the late night replays, they'll be like, "Hey, I want to rewatch that. I'm going to join the highest tier channel membership."
Dude,
I'd
my
say,
dog.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
dog
Nick.
is sleeping right next to me, but he looks like he's having seizures. Right?
Oh no, having a dream.
He's running from the Empire. Oh my god, he's like biting something. What are you doing?
Having a dream.
I wish I could video this.
It's Vader.
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Wake up.
Yeah, well,
Jesus
his name is
Christ.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, so obviously he's running after and trying to bite Vader.
You were having a nightmare. Don't look at me like that. Go back to bed.
You're having a nightmare.
Jesus criminy, dude. He looked at me like, fuck you, dude. Sorry. Anyway.
But yeah, no, you guys are my, you're my people, and I want to see you do great things. So that's what I was asking.
Thank you.
Well, you're the man.
Dan,
Come
Dan.
on now, Dan the man.
Dan the man is going to be in Raleigh with us in July.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine if you just gave Dan a microphone and gave him a podcast? Like that voice, if you just sat down and looked like, Dan, tell me really quick, who is Anakin Skywalker? Everybody just cut off the cameras and listen to this voice. Hear that. Who's Anakin?
Anakin Skywalker was a creation of the Force who was meant to be the chosen one until he fucked over the entire galaxy, became Darth Vader, killed the Jedi Order, and then found the light by the end of his life.
Couldn't you just drive for like 2 hours listening to that voice talk about Star Wars? I mean, come on, 100%, easily.
What's interesting about that is, thank you so much, X-Wing, for your kind words, man. I actually did have a podcast with Tim and another guy. His name's blanking on me right now. A Ghost Rider. No, he was a fan of Ghost Rider. But anyway,
Chase.
He
Chase?
he was on. He used to come by your show, Nick. UBN.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on him?
I know
Anyway,
Ghost Rider.
no, it wasn't Chase. It wasn't.
Rider.
No.
Ghost Rider kind of disappeared.
I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Ghost.
I think it was Jace. J-A-Y, the guy from Norway.
It was so long ago. I really can't say.
Yeah, I
But-
think that's who it was.
But
Because when Tim kind of went crazy there, he's the one that reached out to me.
oh, well, shit. It might have been Jason.
Yeah.
And and it's still up there, but maybe one day I'll get back into it, bro. One day.
Sure. Do it.
For sure. I just need, because when that was my second attempt at giving the YouTube thing a try. Beforehand, I was just doing the solo thing. Then life happened, got tired of it. And then when I met them on EBN, it was like, hey, we're Star Wars nerds too. We can make it. Yeah. And if you look up the Snap Crew, that's what we were called.
Yeah.
Look up the Snap Crew, you will see all of our videos.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about pop culture stuff and everything. So this might.
Well, I have a mic. I have a mic I can send you if you want to start again, and then I'd be more than happy. I can put my put my sexy voice on, and we can talk about Star Wars for an hour.
You know what? I'm gonna take you up on that, brother.
Okay, all right. Send me your address so I can send you this mic. It's sitting in a freaking drawer right now, and it's a USB mic, so you don't need any plugins or anything like that. Let's start a podcast.
Hey.
I'll be your first guest.
Come on,
There you
Ed
go.
Queen. This
Let's
is what
go.
it's about, man.
Man,
Hell yeah.
just remember when you get famous as hell, I was your boy way back in the day.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
When I have
yeah.
my anniversary stream, bro, I'm inviting all y'all up there. Come on
All
now.
right, there we go.
Yeah, don't forget
Heard it
about the
here
little
first.
people.
Hell yeah.
Star is born.
That's it.
Star is born.
That's right.
Well, what else we got tonight? X-Wing? Anything
That's
else?
it, buddy.
Probably
I mean, that's pretty much it. We've run for the better part of 2.5 hours. Not a short stream by any stretch of the imagination. We've covered a lot of stuff when it came to the happy and sad parts of the Star Wars universe. I don't think there's anything else we got unless anybody wants to plug something or say anything or.
good to
I
go.
guess we can take a minute to uplift Ronnie. You say he got bullied out of YouTube in the 6th grade.
Yeah,
He's only in the 7th grade. Come on now.
No, he's a freshman now.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's
I
a
would
youngin'.
say, I was thinking about this earlier today, actually, honestly. it's real interesting when it comes to starting a YouTube and subscribers and what metrics you should try to judge yourself on being successful and all that different kind of stuff. When I started my YouTube, I had zero aspirations of doing absolutely anything at all. Some things happened, and the hardest part is that people get involved in your community and they want to see it grow. And so that's the hardest thing that you're ever going to have to deal with, is other people being interested in your community and making sure that you can give them what they want. That's really the biggest thing. When it comes to subscriber numbers, they are complete and total utter bullshit. It's a fallacy. It doesn't matter at all, because I can tell you right now, there are communities out there that deal with Star Wars that don't have a third of the engagement that my community has, and they have 30,000 subscribers. So the subscriber number does not count. The most important thing is that you spend time with the people that you enjoy spending time with, and continue to build relationships with those people. And more or less, the people that want to be with you in your community and enjoy your message will spend time there. And you just have to keep grinding, make content, and talk about the things that you love. And the people that support you will eventually, they'll back you up, and you'll be where I'm at now, almost 2,000 subscribers in a year with a bunch of amazing people. I've met people in fucking Tennessee. I've met people in Oregon. We've just, it's beautiful. So don't put
Fun
any
times.
undue pressure on yourself, and just enjoy the ride. That's what I would say.
And I'd say have fun doing it, because if you're
Yeah.
not having fun, it's pointless.
Not worth it if it's not enjoyable, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
Don't expect anything of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, coach will call me up and be like, "Dude, can you do a video?" I'm like, "I don't want to do a video on that. Like, I'm not interested.
Exactly.
It's just
And
not
then-
fun for me, Like, if it's not something that I'm interested in doing, I don't want to just make content just to make content.
Right. And it won't be authentic.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a job and not fun. And I will never make this a job.
Yeah.
Stay true to yourself. You are loved, and you always will be, Ronnie. If you do ever decide to get back into it, you have people here for you, bro.
And just to end the night, finally, we got a cartoon.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
We got the Last Jedi comic in the back. Rey's helmet.
No.
That's so cool.
Got some green milk in the background, and me looking as tired as I do now. So yeah.
And your
Well
book
done.
of Boba hat. Your book of Boba hat.
And my book of Boba hat. Can't forget the book of Boba hat. Yeah, I love it.
Perfect.
That is so great.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
Oh,
All
that is
right.
great.
Everybody, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. It has been amazing to see all these people at this late of an hour come and welcome me back into the YouTube space, because it has been almost a month. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, Dan the Man, Nick, Arlena, Mr. Rissman, my co-host. It has been a joy. Everybody, try to stay a little positive if you can. I know things are tough, but stay positive, okay? May the force be with you. This is X-Wing. Have a good night.
All right.
Chicka chicka chow.
Y'all.
And also with